the Essex County Board of Choosing Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Present.
Freeholder Jones.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Richardson.
Here.
Freeholder Siebel.
Here.
Freeholder Toro.
Present.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Thank you. Okay. Please stand to salute our flag, and I ask that Freeholder Rufus Johnson please lead us in the salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and even remembering the loss of our Vice President's son. Thank you. And for clarification, the Vice President of the United States.
I got scared.
Okay, I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Madam Clerk, let's move to the public comment session. For members of the public who are here this evening and for those who are at home watching on TV, tonight's meeting is a combined conference board meeting. So you will see and hear us discuss issues as well as take action on them tonight. So at this point in the agenda, if there's any member of the public wishing to come forward to speak on agenda items only, please come forward, state your name and affiliation, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect there's no one wishing to speak on agenda items only. If there is any member of the public wishing to speak on any issue at all, please come forward to the microphone, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right.
Good evening. My name is Edwin Stamper, and I'm here because I was suspended from the golf course where I didn't get any due process. And the person that sent me the letter for suspension, I called him with the number to try to set up a meeting to take care of this. And I have yet to hear from anyone. And tonight, I'm here to speak and try to get a meeting to accomplish things that's happened at Wickway Golf Course that shouldn't be happening. And right now, I'm the 4th guy that's been suspended from the golf course. And this has never happened in the years that I have played there. The majority of us have played in that golf course for 30 or 40 years. So I didn't do anything to get suspended, and none of us done anything to get suspended. And my accuser said that I used profane language, and there was a lot of people there, but no one ever come forward to, so I can defend myself, because I have never been suspended for anything as long as I've been around. And I would like to see Mr. Cervantes and to try to, talk about and go over the issues that's happening at Wickway Golf Course. And it's been happening now for 2 years, and they just act right on it, just suspend you for no reason. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stamper. Mr. Stamper, when is your suspension up? What does the letter say?
Yes, it's up today, tomorrow, but that's not the problem.
I understand.
The problem is
I understand. I understand. Thank you. So we will respond in writing, as is our practice, but I will say that we are in the process of scheduling a meeting along with yourself as well as the Weequahic Park Sports Authority, and Mr. Wadu can explain that to you, but we will also explain it in writing. So thank you so much for coming to the microphone regarding your issue and for your courage. Is there any other member of the public wishing to speak at this time?
Good evening, Douglas Freeman, Weequahic Park Sports Authority President. Just want to speak about Weequahic Park. On the short time of 3 years We have made great strides along with the county and the community and along with the city. And things like this we would like to have addressed to make sure that there's no issues inside of our park. We have a great community environment. Right now we coming up to our senior program, which will be our first anniversary. And there's 65 seniors, and it's still growing. We have 150 registered. And also that there's getting ready to start the Essex County Parks League, and we're playing West Side in 2 weeks in chess and tennis. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the information. Is there any other member of the public wishing to speak at this time on any issue at all? If so, please step forward, state your name and affiliation.
Good evening. I'm at that top. Thank you. Ed Potosnik from the New Jersey League of Conservation Voters. I want to thank you, President Timberlake, and distinguished members of the Freeholder Board for having me come tonight. I'm here because Essex County is a leader in addressing environmental concerns. And specifically, in the fall, I want to thank you. Essex County came out strong for Public Question 2 to support open space protection. And I'm here to ask for more help to protect the environment, really to ask for help for our future generations, for our children and our grandchildren, and that is in addressing climate change. As many of us know, with Superstorm Sandy, we're going to see, with rising temperatures in the globe, higher sea levels, more storm surge, and Essex County is vulnerable. And I'm asking for your help in addressing that. Already, you are a leader in purchasing 25% of your energy from renewable sources, and we'd like to see that increased. Most importantly, looking at the renewable portfolio standard and buying more energy from renewable sources like wind and solar, which have become very competitive. And so I'm hopeful that there can be a resolution up at your next Freeholder meeting to set a goal of, by 2050, purchasing 80% of the power community-wide in Essex County from renewable sources to end our addiction to fossil fuels. That helps to clean our air, reduces all kinds of health problems, but it also helps to improve our environment, makes us more economically secure. There's a couple other things that are in the resolution, like improving energy efficiency. So when we look up, I'm pretty sure these are LED light bulbs. This is great. We want to see more of this because as our demand decreases, as we use more efficient light bulbs and other kinds of efficiency projects like insulation, our demand for energy decreases and we can get those sources then from more renewables. And so I'm really here to ask that you continue your leadership role and set a standard for the state as a leading county in addressing climate change, and then additionally, really for the nation to address this really important issue for our children. So thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions or work with the board as you move forward to continue your leadership on the environment. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ed, for coming to speak.
My pleasure.
And we will continue to be in contact with you. There is a resolution that is going around sponsored by myself as well as Freeholder Seabold, Freeholder Toro, as well as Freeholder Bobadilla regarding the initiative. So we look forward to continuing to work with you as well as our administration and making sure that we do more for the environment on top of what we're already doing.
Great. Thank you very much.
Is there any other member of the public wishing to come forward to speak? Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there is no one else wishing to come forward to speak on any issue at all at this time. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions for introduction or first reading?
Yeah. Yes, Madam President, we have one.
Okay.
Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $12,005,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $11,420,000 bonds or notes of the county for financing such appropriation.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shaw, can you please explain?
Yes, Madam President, thank you. As you know, we've held a number of work sessions with the Freeholder Board to discuss this advance. This money will be coming out of the 2016 $20 million allocation. The majority of these dollars will be not expended until the latter part of this year. However, in order to jumpstart these projects and get them started in a timely fashion, I will just highlight those areas in which the $12 million, $500,000 is going to be requested. Right out the bat, the reason why it's $12,500,000, we received a $500,000 contribution from Aramark, who is our partners up at Turtleback Zoo, that will be working with us on outfitting and helping to construct the new cafe there. Our dollars are actually the $12 million, and it's broken down as such. $5,161,907 for the Zoo Cafe. We'll be coming back, hopefully, to this board in August to award that contract. That contract is scheduled to begin shovel in the ground somewhere after Labor Day, and hoping to get it up and ready for April 1st, the height of the zoo season for next year. The second project is $5 million for the giraffe exhibit. As you know, we've designed this. We actually have giraffes waiting to come home to Essex County. So it's $5 million for the giraffe exhibit. $750,000 for the Weequahic Park Playground. I know we discussed this at the work sessions. We want to get this project started. Hopefully, we'd like to get it started in August as early as possible. The next project is for design of the 4 new courtrooms that we need to create down at the Gibraltar Willents condo that the county owns for the courts. As you know, the courts will be receiving some additional judges here in Essex County, and we need to create some additional courtrooms. The design for those courtrooms, as well as a design for an addition to the Hall of Records, and I think we pointed it out, it's actually the rear entrance as you enter this building, adjacent to the cafeteria. We'll be constructing or designing an addition to the building that would house 4 general equity courts. It'll also provide for expansion of our Hall of Records cafeteria. If you go there on any Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, heavy juror days, there's not enough seating, there's not enough space for the jurors and the public to have places to eat. So this will also increase the cafeteria space and the support staff for the courts. And that design piece is roughly $688,093. And then the final piece of the $12 million advance is for the Gibraltar David Willents actual physical capital construction to construct the 4 courtrooms, and that's at $400,000.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Sharif Islam, do you have any questions? Mr. McInerney.
Yes, just to go back and look at this and kind of analyze it a little bit based on what the business administrator had indicated. The 2 parts of this ordinance, the $1 million for the courts and the $710,000 for the playground at Weequahic Park, those are basically non-revenue generating items. Those are capital improvements which will come out of our capital fund and will also be part of our tax levy. The other 2 items, which is included in the $10,700,000 for the South Mountain Recreation Complex, are potentially revenue generating items. So if we look at the giraffe exhibit at roughly $5 million, the idea there was that was, and I believe it was said that it would generate an additional 50,000 of attendance, and I think I got that from the county executive. You know, that in and of itself at $10 a piece is $500,000. So that seems to be a revenue neutral. 500,000 would definitely cover the debt service on the $5 million. And then we have the part that is applicable to the cafe construction, and that's another roughly $5 million. So question there is, can the administration just again give us the revenue generation from that we'll be getting from that in terms of how that will help us contribute to the debt service?
Thank you. And Ralph, one moment before you respond, I would like to acknowledge Freeholder Rolando Bobadilla is now present with us. Okay, please resume, Ralph.
Through you, Madam President. Yes, as this board is aware, the freeholders had approved a long-term lease with Aramark to operate the concession at Turtleback Zoo. And as part of that long-term lease, it's a 20-year lease with 2 5-year option renewals. The base rent for years 1 through 5 is $268,000 a year for rent. The county will also share in any gross profits of over $5 million. We'll share at 5%. There's also a 5% rent kicker, Frank, every 5 years. In addition to that, as part of the lease agreement with Aramark, they will also be contributing $1.5 million toward the project, and that's broken down as such. They will $500,000 will go directly into brick and mortar for the building, and $1 million will go for FF&E, commonly known as furniture, fixtures, and equipment. All the software, all of the tables, chairs, kitchen equipment, that'll all be on Aramark's dime. But the highlight, as Frank had requested, is the revenue generator. It'll be $268,000 a year, and after 5 years, that rent will be kicked up 5%.
So that would cover the principal on the debt service. And so both of those items, both the cafe construction as well as the giraffe exhibit, I mean, the rents are definitely something that we have in writing. It's a lease. The $50,000 of additional attendance is an estimate. Nonetheless, it's an estimate that would generate, significant amounts of money, significantly more than what you would need to pay the debt service. So it's kind of, you put these two together, if you're looking at roughly about $750,000, that would be able to be applied against the debt service that would be added to our annual budget. So it seems to be revenue neutral.
Seems to be revenue?
Revenue neutral, if you will.
Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments?
Now, again, Madam President, if I can.
Mr. McInerney?
I'm only looking at what people pay to get into the park with regard to the 50,000 attendees because of the giraffe exhibit. It potentially can bring in a lot more, so.
Right.
I'm being conservative.
That's people coming to see the giraffe exhibit, but there's also revenue to feed the giraffes, which is in
And so many other.
negotiation to see how much that will be per lettuce head. I don't know.
That's correct, Madam President.
Right. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none. Do I have a motion and a second to introduce the ordinance?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Sebo, second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Yes. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Timberlake. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes. Madam Clerk, I see that we do not have any ordinances or resolutions for listing purposes only. Is that correct?
Madam President, we have none.
Okay. And do we have any ordinances or second reading and public hearing?
Yes, we have two.
Okay, please read.
Ordinance number O-2015-00006, ordinance naming the section of the Essex County Turtleback Zoo Education Building where 4 classrooms are located as the Essex County Mark E. Burson Learning Center in honor of Mark E. Burson. Resolution 2, ordinance number O-2015-00007, ordinance to create the Essex County Homelessness Trust Fund.
Okay, thank you. So I hereby declare the public hearing on ordinance O-2015-0006 open. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment for or against this ordinance, please come forward to the microphone, state your name and affiliation, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there's no one wishing to come forward to speak about this ordinance from the public. Ms. Salam, do you have any questions? Mr. McInerney? Okay. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments regarding the ordinance? Freeholder Seabold?
I just want to say that I have to give the Bursons a tremendous amount of credit for donating so much money towards the environmentals, the education center. It's just a fantastic place, and they are to be commended for doing such a great job for Essex County.
Yes, I agree. They're wonderful people, and they really have contributed a lot to our county, and naming this learning center after them is the right thing to do because of it. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, do I have a motion and a second to close
I'll
the public
move it.
hearing? Moved by Freeholder Seabold.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk. To close?
Freeholder Toro. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla. Yes. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes. Okay, and you know what? Do we have the same mover and second to approve the ordinance?
Yes.
We should have, okay. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro. Yes. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. I hereby declare the public hearing on ordinance O 2015-00007 open. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak in regard to this ordinance, please come forward, state your name and affiliation. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, hearing none. Ms. Salam, do you have any questions regarding the ordinance? No questions, thank you. Okay. Mr. McInerney? Freeholders, do you have any questions regarding the ordinance? All right. Hearing none, do I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing? Moved by Freeholder Jones. Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Do I have the same mover and second to vote? Yes. Yes, okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder Vice President Gill. Absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro. Yes. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Now let's move to our resolutions. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 1?
Excuse me. Resolution number 1, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Management and Budget, resolution authorizing an emergency appropriation pursuant to NJSA.40A:4-46 and NJSA.40A:4-48.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chola, can you please explain the resolution?
Yes, Madam President. This resolution relates back to ordinance number 1, the advance of the $12 million. I do have Mr. Acker here that can explain this resolution. More?
Good evening, Madam President,
Good
members
evening.
of the board. The ordinance that you just introduced requires a down payment of $580,000. We currently have $200,000 available. Therefore, we need to have this emergency appropriation approved by the board in the amount of $380,000, which combined with the $200,000 would satisfy the $580,000 down payment requirement for that ordinance. It requires a 2/3 vote, and it will have to be raised in the 2016 budget as a deferred charge.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Salam, any questions? Mr. McInerney?
Yes, since we didn't anticipate the bond ordinance that we just spoke about at the time of the budget hearings, we did not put in enough money to cover for the down payment. So now you have to insert it in the budget, as Mr. Acker said. It becomes part of the budget, but it's raised next year. So it's just a way of making sure that we have the cash, the authorization to pay the $380,000 and the $580,000 required.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay. Do I have a motion and a second?
Move it.
Moved by Freeholder Richardson. Second. Seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Acker, for coming to explain. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolutions number 2, which is a nomination for the appointment of the Essex County Environmental Commission. Please read.
Advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Nicholas D. Ambrosio to the Essex County Environmental Commission.
Okay, Mr. Chola, can you please introduce?
Yes, Mr. D'Ambrosio, could you please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself? Mr. D'Ambrosio's appointment will run through June 30th of 2018.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see everyone again. Please pardon the informal attire. We had a spill on site today, and so it was a quick shower, change, put jeans on, and run back out again. You all had a copy of my resume at some point, I imagine. It's a little lengthy. It reads like stereo instructions. The short version is I'm currently an environmental management PhD candidate at Montclair State University. I received my master's degree in environmental policy from NJIT in 2009. I've taught at Seton Hall University, Rutgers University, and Passaic County Community College environmental science, sustainability, and GIS at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. In 2014, I was awarded the Environmental Professor of the Year Award by Green Garden State, excuse me. I'm currently on contract with the United States Navy as a Department of Defense contractor, working on defense drones, both surface and subsurface, monitoring their environmental implications and remediations. God, please something go wrong. I've spent time both domestic and abroad with my toys, making sure they're doing their job, keeping our boys safe, as well as minimizing the impact to the environment. I'm also currently an Army, how do we do this? An Army Corps of Engineers contractor on 4 Superfund sites here in New Jersey, Bog Creek, Metal Tech, Rocky Hill, and Pohatcong, as their QCS, QA/QC manager and health and safety, currently on the Pohatcong Superfund remediation site. I never sleep. I've also been serving on the board of ANGEC's Board of Trustees since 2012, and I'm a volunteer for Great Swamp Watershed Association, Stony Brook Millstone Watershed Association, oh God, the Raptor Trust, and a number of other nonprofits here in New Jersey. That's the short version. And a Montclair resident as well. So, having served on multiple municipal boards in the past, it would be my honor to rise to the next level and serve Essex County, which I grew up in. It has been my home for a very long time. And my mom still lives in West Orange, so it would make her really proud if I'm out there collecting more frogs and snakes and bugs and stuff and then dumping them off on her front door. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholder Siebold?
I have a comment.
Hi, Ms. Siebold.
Hi. As you know from listening to Nick D'Ambrosio, he has a wonderful background, and I'm really happy that you're willing to be on the Environmental Commission and spend your time on the Environmental Commission. And I want to commend the county executive who is here with us tonight for recommending that you be appointed. I think it's a wonderful appointment, and I'm the freeholder liaison to the board, and I think it's wonderful that you will be there. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. I look forward to serving.
Thank you so much, and it is clear that you're enthusiastic.
I've had a lot of coffee today.
Yes, about the environment. In fact, at our last meeting, Mr. D'Ambrosio was sitting waiting to be appointed, and we unfortunately did not have that on the agenda at our last meeting, but he was so patient in his waiting. And I said to him, well, you know, we can call the vote since we've met you next meeting and you don't have to come. He said, no, I would really like to come to explain everything that I do because you know, you love it. So it's really refreshing, and I know that our county is going to be better as far as the environment and having you on that commission. So freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Seabolt?
Yes. I just want everyone to know, weren't you a student of mine?
Yes.
Okay.
You could hear it in the high
There's no
notes, Seabolt.
favoritism here.
That's why I'm so happy to vote for him.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, freeholders, any other questions or comments? All right, thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm actually going to hold, we have number 2 through 8. They're all advice and consent, so we'll hold the vote until after we get through number 8. Madam Clerk, can you please read number 3?
Advice and consent to nomination for the appointment of Vincent DeNotaris to the Local Advisory Committee on Alcohol and Drug Abuse.
Thank you. Mr. Chalella, can you please introduce?
I'm not sure if Mr. DeNotaris has made it yet. Oh, he's here. Okay. Mr. DeNotaris, please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself to the board. Mr. DeNotaris' term will run through December 31st of 2016.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Vincent DeNotaris, longtime resident of Essex County. Thank you. Attended elementary school in Newark, New Jersey, high school in Belleville, New Jersey, and went on to join the United States military. I was a paratrooper in the Airborne Infantry.
All right.
Thank you. When I returned home, I went into the construction field, and I worked in the sheet metal and ironwork field for 30 years. At the same time, I went back for a master's degree in addiction counseling and obtained a license as a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor, and I want to volunteer for this LACADA board.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Well, thank you for your commitment to be on the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Committee, and thank you also for your service to our country. My father was 82nd Airborne Army infantry soldier, so.
Airborne, I'm very proud of your father, too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Okay, and we'll hold our vote until the end of the advice and consent nominations. Thank you for coming. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 4?
Resolution number 4, advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Steve Margiogotes to the Local Advisory Committee on Alcohol and Drug Abuse.
I could see Mr. Margiotis is at the microphone.
I look down, I look up, you're standing there. You're ready.
He will be filling a vacant spot, and his term will run through December 31st of 2016 as well.
Freeholder President, as well as the Freeholder Board, I want to thank you for this opportunity. My name is Steve Margiotis. I'm the founder and executive director of Main Street Counseling Center. For 35 years, we've been servicing Essex County residents with a variety of problems, including drug and alcohol issues. This committee will be an extension of that in some ways, and I'm eagerly looking forward to offering my expertise on this committee, and I welcome you and your support on this nomination.
Thank you so much. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Well, thank you so much for your service and your willingness to serve on the Committee of Alcohol and Drug Abuse.
Thank you. Thank you
for
again.
being here. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 5?
Resolution number 5, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Reverend Joseph Vereen to the Essex County Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgendered and Questioning Advisory Board.
Thank you. Mr. Chawla?
If I could call Reverend Vereen up to the microphone. And as he's approaching, Mr. Vereen's term will run through March 1st of 2017.
Good afternoon, freeholders. Reverend Joseph Vereen from the Place of Purpose Baptist Church in Newark. I am a community activist, a community leader. I also sit and serve on the Newark LGBTQ Commission for Ras Baraka. And I serve on the Newark NEMA Planning Council for HIV members of the community. So that's some of the work that I do as an advocate in the community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vereen. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Thank you so much for your courage to serve and to represent the population that indeed definitely is in need of representation. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 6?
Resolution number 6, advise a consent nomination for the reappointment of June Dowell Burton to the Essex County Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgendered, and Questioning Advisory Board.
June is at the mic already. She will be, she's up actually as a reappointment, and her term will run through March 1st of 2018.
Good evening, freeholders. I'm so honored to be standing before you again to be reappointed to the LGBTQ Commission. I'm a longtime community advocate. I'm also founder of Newark Pride, and I'm proud to say that we will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year. So I also am the social service coordinator for RPM Development, and so that's my full-time job. But you know, I'm always in the community advocating for our population to ensure their safety and that their services and needs are being met.
Thank you so much, June, for coming out here tonight. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments for June? Well, thank you, too, for your service and your courage to serve a population that definitely needs a bigger voice in the community.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 7?
Resolution number 7, advice and consent nomination for the reappointment of Henry Godet to the Essex County Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgendered, and Questioning Advisory Board.
Okay, Mr. Chilella?
Mr. Godet is also a reappointment to the LGBTQ Advisory Board. His term will run through March 1st of 2018.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm pleased to be reappointed, to be nominated for reappointment. I've worked in the community for the longest time. I work on CDC grants that do research on the risk of transmitting HIV with different populations. The LGBTQ population is one group that's at greatest risk. And our ability to access the community, give them the information they need, and help them protect themselves from HIV, and also open up the community to more activities for the LGBTQ community is why I'm on this commission.
Thank you so much. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, thank you so much for coming out tonight, and again for being a voice. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 8?
Resolution number 8, advise and consent nomination for the reappointment of Gary Paul Wright to the Essex County Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgendered, and Questioning Advisory Board.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chilella?
Yes, Mr. Wright is also a reappointment, and he's no stranger to this chambers. We've heard him sing many a times, and I'll introduce you for a reappointment, Mr. Wright.
You're going to make your statement in song?
I will not. I have to have my guitar with me. Also, I have to explain, I just got my new bridges on my mouth, so I can't say my S's, so I don't know if I'll sing this year. So as long as it's not she shall, that's a she shore. Okay, right, we'll work that out. But I want to say I am honored. I've been on this committee or this board since its inception. I want to thank Freeholder Sebald and Freeholder Bombardier for coming to our meetings and supporting us, and also for your staff for they've just been really, really wonderful for us. So it's an honor to serve Essex County. In fact, my organization, the African American Office of Gay Concerns, we're holding a community summit at Essex County College this Saturday. So we really are voice of the people, and we want to hear from the people, and by the people I mean the LGBT community and allies. So that's it.
Thank you so much. I like your enthusiasm as well. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Bobadilla?
Did you recognize
on all your efforts and all your contributions to the county and to the city as well. You know, I'm also involved with LGBTQ, and it's a population that is constantly, in my opinion, underlooked and underserved, and we need champions like you and everybody else on the board. So thank you for serving.
Thank you.
Freeholder Sebald.
Thank you. I purposely waited until the end, until after every single person came up, because I didn't want to keep repeating myself over and over again. But every single person who has come before us tonight has an excellent resume. Everyone is so qualified to be on the committee to which they are being appointed or reappointed. And again, what I said before, the county executive is to be commended for finding so many wonderful people who are willing to give their time for nothing but for the better of the people of this county. And I know so many of the people who came before us tonight, and that's why I didn't want to get started and talk to every person who came up here. But I am really thrilled that this is before us tonight and that I can give my vote for so many terrific people. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Freeholder Toro.
I would also like to express, as Freeholder Sebald, I waited to the end. I want to thank all the nominees. You know, no matter how many times I see so many qualified individuals, it doesn't stop surprising me the amount of experience, expertise, and education that everyone has, and most importantly, the enthusiasm that I see from all of you. So thank you. It's an honor to have you all serve on our boards.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay, do you have a mover and a second? Moved by Freeholder Sebald. Seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebald.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you. Now I'd actually like to take the agenda a little bit out of order and reopen our public comment session for one person only, and that is to give courtesy to one of our state representatives, Assemblywoman Cleopatra Tucker, who's here to speak on a particular issue. Please come forward, Assemblywoman.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam President. I'm here tonight to speak on a stigma-free zone. Last Thursday in our Human Service Committee, we passed a resolution to say making the state of New Jersey a stigma-free zone, and we're asking all the counties and municipalities to do the same, and that means that we're saying that we're taking the stigma out of mental illness, and by making it a stigma-free zone, that will open it up to the people that need our services in our state and in our municipalities and our county, because there's a stigma that's attached to mental illness. And we want to take that away so they can get the proper services and stuff that they need. And I brought the information that was given to us at the state for your information, and I thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman, and we look forward to reading that and to working together with you on that. Freeholders, any questions or comments for Assemblywoman while she's here? Freeholder Richardson.
Yeah, I want to thank you for coming tonight. We spoke about this stuff earlier. I'm glad to see that you were able to make it, and I look forward to working with you on this stuff. And I'm sure, as the president said, you know, we'll take a look at it and you know, I'm in support of it because you told me about it already. I like what it stands for and what you guys are doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and it's important that we do this because we have so many people that's out here in our communities that don't get the proper treatment because they're afraid they'll be stigmatized if they seek help. So this is just one of the ways that we can help them help themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. I'm closing public comment session now and going back to our regularly scheduled meeting. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 9?
Resolution number 9, Essex County Improvement Authority resolution providing the consent of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders to the issuance of the Essex County Improvement Authority of Solid Waste Disposal Revenue Bonds, Convanta Project Series 2015, in an aggregate principal amount not exceeding $100 million, and the loan of proceeds of such bonds to Convanta Holding Corporation in order to provide funds for renovations to the Essex County Resource Facility in Newark, New Jersey, and related matters.
Thank you. And because resolution number 10 is also with the Essex County Improvement Authority, please read resolution number 10. I see Mr. Paganelli is going to come forward and speak on these two.
Resolution 10, Essex County Improvement Authority consent to ground lease agreement between the Essex County Improvement Authority and Tilt Aviation, LLC.
Thank you. Mr. Chalala?
Yes, on number 9, I will turn the mic over to Mr. Paganelli as the Executive Director of the Improvement Authority to discuss this resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Paganelli?
Madam President, James Paganelli, Executive Director of the Essex County Improvement Authority. If I could, Madam President, this afternoon, Mr. McInerney and I had a conversation on number 9. He has some additional questions, so Madam President, if I could ask that the board consider tabling this until the 24th, I think I'll be able to get him the answers he's looking for, which then he can provide to the board.
Okay. I will consider it. You can go ahead and explain it.
Yes. There's an agreement by and between Covanta that operates the incinerator down in the East Ward of Newark. The neighborhood has been strident in its efforts to make sure that it's not an environmentally insensitive facility. A number of years ago, the county executive got involved with DEP to try to make the emissions from that plant safer. Ultimately, Covanta entered into a consent order with the State Department of Environmental Protection, whereby it agreed to install what I call baghouse technology on the flues or on the chimney smokestacks of the incinerator. This technology allows for particulates that would ordinarily float out into the community and out into the surrounding areas to be caught now rather than to be released. So Covanta at the appropriate time came to the Improvement Authority, asked it to be a mere conduit financer. There is no county guarantee. There is no state guarantee. This is whoever the bondholders end up being, their only recourse is to Covanta. And they came to the Improvement Authority to do the conduit financing, which is what we're, one of our statutory powers.
Okay, thank you. And freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney, can you please ask your questions for the record?
$100 million is a lot of money when I saw it. The concerns are, I've seen this type of financing before, I just haven't seen it at this level. And obviously, there's some information that we have in the package that we were given, but I want to see bond counsel's letter and representations that coincide with the opinions that Mr. Paganelli just had. I'd like, just to, I requested the financial statements and of the company that is actually looking at this. I understand there is no guarantee to the county. But again, I want to hear that from bond counsel as well and get it in writing. But still, at the same time, I'd like to look at the financial position of the entity that's seeking us to be the conduit for $100 million. I'd like to look and see at their financial statements and again, just as a way of measuring their ability to pay. And again, that may not have any impact, or it does not have any impact on the county, but I think it's my due diligence to make sure we know who we're dealing with at any level, regardless of the guarantees involved. So there might be a couple other questions, but Mr. Paganelli has been very cooperative, and I appreciate the fact that he takes no exception to giving us additional time to get this information.
Yes, thank you. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Do we have a representative from Covanta here today?
No, it's, Madam President, through you, it's something Mr. McInerney asked me as well today, so after he reviews the materials, if the board requires any other entity, whether it's our financial advisor, our bond counselor, or representative of Covanta, through you, Madam President, whoever you ask for, I will make sure it produced.
Yes, absolutely. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Through you, Madam President, I'd like to request that a Covanta representative be here for the...
Yes, that's what Mr. Paganelli just said. Absolutely. It is our practice, as everyone here on the board as well as the administration is aware, that anything over $100,000 must come forward and have a conversation with the board to explain personally. So absolutely, Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder Toro?
So when you say that there's no state or county guarantee, that means that if they defaulted in their loan, the county or the state wouldn't have to take on that loss.
Madam President, through you, that's correct.
So who would be the one taking the loss? It would be the bank institution?
Madam President, through you, the bondholders would only have recourse to Covanta, which, without speaking on his behalf or for him, I think that's why Mr. McInerney is looking at the size of this deal and wanting to make sure that there's enough assets to support that promise.
Right.
And lastly, sorry, Madam President, through you, last question is the $100 million is just for that technology that you mentioned?
Madam President, yes, there may be some soft costs in there, but it's for the design, engineering, and construction of those improvements.
Thank you.
Mr. Paganelli, can you please explain again the pros of this and for the environment in the community?
Sure. It's a cleaner mechanism to run the plant. As I indicated, it is a technology that allows for loosely catchers to be installed at the top of the, I'll call them chimneys, although I don't know if that's the correct term, and allows it to capture any particulate that would be released after the materials are burned. For the Improvement Authority or for the community, we think that makes it's safer for the community, it makes it more environmentally friendly operation. And obviously for the Improvement Authority, we get fees when we do financings, and so the Improvement Authority is able to make a fee on the transaction.
Right. Okay. So in layman's terms, it's going to make sure that we have cleaner air, as well as it doesn't smell when we're going down the turnpike?
Correct. At least not from us, not from this
At least not
incinerator.
from this facility.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to honor the request of our budgeteer, Mr. Frank McInerney, and hold this over until the 24th. Do I have a mover in a second? Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla.
Second.
I don't know who said that.
Somebody said it over there.
Okay. Seconded by Freeholder Libby Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel?
Yes.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. And resolution number 10. Mr. Chilella.
Yes, Madam President, this is a ground lease of 25,590 square foot. Permission to erect a 10,000 square foot structure of office space. There is a 20-year lease with 2 5-year options mutually agreed upon. And this will be revenue generated to the Improvement Authority of roughly $40,944 annually. And Mr. Paganelli is here to answer any additional questions the board may have.
Mr. Paganelli.
Madam President, James Paganelli, Executive Director of the Essex County Improvement Authority. Much like number 9, whenever the Improvement Authority is going to enter into an agreement with another party that lasts longer than 5 years, we need freeholder consent. This land lease pertains to the Essex County Airport located in Fairfield, New Jersey. This is the historic way that the Improvement Authority has been able to generate capital improvements at the airport. It's a land lease whose rent is based on the same amounts that we've charged other tenants in the past and are charging now. That's a requirement by the FAA. We could not treat anybody any differently. Everybody gets treated the same. While Mr. Chilella is correct in terms of the base land lease rent, it's also our vision that this lease will allow for the sale of fuel. It's another way that the Improvement Authority generates revenue. It will generate, it will be constructed solely through the funding of the tenant. The Improvement Authority does not put any money out. For those of you, I know Freeholder Siebold was on the board at that time, and Mr. McInerney was certainly around. The Improvement Authority is not subordinating its interest in the fee of the property here. So again, the only recourse that the bank would have if there was a default would be against the builder, the company. So it is a mechanism by which we're getting a capital improvement. At the end of the lease term, it becomes the Improvement Authority's hangar for $1. We do believe that it'll generate rent revenue. It'll also generate, we believe, fuel sale revenue. It creates jobs in terms of the initial construction. And then on a long-term basis, it should create jobs in terms of hangar management.
Okay. How many jobs?
I don't know, but Madam President, I'll get you the number that's envisioned.
Please,
yes,
that's important. And it's a specialty as far as hangar management only, or?
Yeah, it'll in the long term, it will be aircraft service. It will be pulling airplanes, fueling airplanes, cleaning airplanes. Quite frankly, through again the county executive's leadership lately, we have been able to hire a few folks from our vocational schools. So it's actually been a real bonus for us, and they're trained, they're well educated, and it's worked out pretty well.
Great. So you're already ahead of my question.
Oh, good.
You know, I want to know about local and our training programs and who's going to be able to, fill those positions. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney?
I think the key to this is that the space is available. It's not being used now, correctly?
That's correct. As Mr. McInerney points out, this is vacant area at the airport. While we're mindful of crowding and overcrowding, this is an area that we have looked at historically as an area for redevelopment at the airfield.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Toro.
Second, Madam President.
Seconded by Freeholder Luciano. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Please let's move to resolution and read. Thank you, Mr. Paganelli, for coming to explain.
Thank you, Madam
And
President.
congratulations.
Thank you, Madam President.
Resolution 11, Office of County Council, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute the settlement agreement and release in the matter of K-Holombian Companies Northeast Incorporated versus County of Essex and Essex County Improvement Authority, docket number C-36-08, and the agreement of sale of 2002 suspended by the contract of 2004 and 2005 and other matters, and take all necessary steps to effectuate same.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chilella, can you please explain?
Yes, Madam President. As you know, we've had numerous work sessions with the freeholders, keeping you abreast of the Hilltop matter. We are pleased to bring this resolution before this board this evening. After many, many years, we're able to move forward, and at this point in time, Mr. Paganelli will go further into this resolution.
Mr. Paganelli?
Madam President, James...
You're going to switch hats?
I'm going to switch hats, Madam President. James Paganelli from the Office of County Council. Madam President, I did bring some boards for visuals to kind of walk the board through. So Would you mind if I slid forward and
Please, come
dropped them on
forward.
an easel? President, I want to make sure you have a vantage point as well. Just like that.
Please.
Yeah.
That's good. Ms. Salam, can you see? Okay.
Madam President, I should note, just for the record, on these few ECIA items, that Ms. Salam is at every one of our board meetings. She's a tremendous help to me, offers me guidance, and allows me to kind of ping ideas off her. So I appreciate that the board sends her up, and I just want to make sure that, for the record, everybody knows that she's at every one of our meetings and does a great job, which we really appreciate. Thank you. So what the board has in front of it is what we have historically called Plan 1E. It is a plan that was devised under the Treffinger administration in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. There was a transaction called the Hilltop transaction. It was done in 1995 when Mr. Treffinger took office. He claimed that there was a $42.5 million budget gap, and he sold what you'd see on here is this green. I call it the upper or the Hilltop Reservation proper. Literally sold it to the Improvement Authority for $42.5 million. Took that money, put it in his budget. Probably a transaction that you could not do any longer today with the new case law. And then had the Improvement Authority come up with a redevelopment plan for the Hilltop. And the redevelopment plan was not just limited to the property that became Hilltop proper, but it was also encapsulated properties that were not part of that original reservation plan. So for those of you who are familiar with the area down here to the lower side is where the old Caldwell Jail used to be. The area in orange that you see up here is the former psychiatric hospital in Cedar Grove. This redevelopment plan was adopted by every affected municipality. It was a policy of then Freeholder President DiVincenzo, and Freeholder Siebold was on the board as well, and I may have even been there for a short while, that the local municipalities adopt their redevelopment ordinances because we wanted to make sure that the local municipalities were in control of what was going to happen at the local level. So what you see here was adopted by all the municipalities: Caldwell, North Caldwell, Verona, and Cedar Grove. Unfortunately, during the Treffinger administration's time, nothing happened on the Hilltop. A contract was executed by and between the Essex County Improvement Authority and K. Hubnanian, the developers. Interestingly enough, the County of Essex never executed that document, which kind of led to a lawsuit, which I'll get into. The properties that were not transferred to the Improvement Authority were always held by the county, and the county was pretty strident with the former administration, saying, if you're ever ready to sell a parcel to a developer, come back to us, and we're going to vote on it, but we're not just going to give the Improvement Authority all the property. We're not doing it that way. When Mr. DiVincenzo took office as county executive, our first primary objective was to finish the jail. The jail had languished. Jail was not going anywhere. This county executive put all of his effort, I have to say, in completing the jail down on Doremus Avenue. What that did was it allowed us then to start selling parcels, because you can't sell a parcel when they're occupied. So we were able to sell parcels 3 and 4 down where the jail used to be. We also sold parcels 1 and 2. And we even sold parcels 7 and 9 to Cedar Grove, where if you go up there now, it's called Panther Park. They were able to develop a recreation site. It really left, so this was parcels 3 and 4 down here. This was parcel 1, kind of the L. This L, or upside down L, was parcel 5. And that's how the transaction went. As the board may know, The hospital center was supposed to be, or was planned on by the prior administration to be moved to Newark, New United. That sounds like another lawsuit that we all were involved in. That lawsuit now is settled. But the original plan was for this hospital center to be moved to Newark, this property to be sold to K. Hovnanian. That hospital center, the hospital center in Newark was not going to be fiscally a responsible move, so the county executive decided to make this a new hospital center in Cedar Grove down along Grove Avenue. It left the county with what I call parcel 5, which is 90 acres of land. We tried to get K. Hovnanian to step up and buy the property. We offered to allow them to buy it over time, over years. A lot of effort, again, went into moving everybody out so the property was ready to be sold. We tried to accelerate environmental due diligence, but K. Hovnanian would not buy this property early. As I indicated earlier, these properties were still owned by the county. At the time, the Improvement Authority came to the county and said, hey, we think it's now time to take title to what would be parcel 5. The freeholders at that point in time indicated that since all that $42.5 million worth of debt had been retired with earlier transactions, that rather than sell this property, we're going to look to try to keep it open, as open space. That didn't make K. Hovnanian very happy. K. Hovnanian then sued the county and the Improvement Authority to compel a sale of this property to it. That's the reason why before I indicated K. Hovnanian and the county never executed a contract. It was only K. Hovnanian and the Improvement Authority, and a clause in that contract provided that the Improvement Authority could only sell the property once it got title to it. If it didn't get title, it could never sell the property. And so this litigation between the Improvement Authority, county, and K. Hovnanian has now been going on for about 8 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and a lot of time. This parcel, which is parcel 1, was sold, as I indicated, a number of years ago. And so for the last couple of years, Cedar Grove and the developer, with me sitting at the table and the county executive sitting at the table, have been talking about different development arrangements that would be acceptable to the county, to the municipality, and to K. Hovnanian. And I want to emphasize the importance of the municipality's role here. Because once again, the county executive made it a very clear point to K. Hovnanian, thank you, that we're not going to settle, we're not going to sell, we're not going behind Cedar Grove's back, we're not doing anything until Cedar Grove and K. Hovnanian have reached an agreement as to what they would have developed here. So, let me just give you a little bit more of a background. I'm not that skinny. Sorry. Okay. In a different format, this 1E that I just showed you is this plan here. And I think the importance of looking at this plan from this perspective is the open space versus how much is being developed. Under the approved by Cedar Grove Municipality redevelopment plan, there really is limited or little open space. The line of green that you're seeing down here is the Essex County Bikeway, and this green here is if you go through the property, is a softball field that currently the county leases to Cedar Grove, but it's really just an overgrown field. I think this is important as we rotate to what happened in Cedar Grove recently.
Flip it. Flip it.
Flip it.
You need an assistant.
Yeah, tell me about it. Okay, so I offer just this perspective for the board members and for those in the public that are watching to see the difference in the open space perspective versus this plan versus the plan that we just looked at. This plan was adopted by Cedar Grove through public hearings last week or the week before. I should advise, and I know many of you are probably already aware of this, Cedar Grove had Kay Hovnanian in for public hearings. They questioned Kay Hovnanian in those public hearings. And then once Cedar Grove was comfortable with what the new development or redevelopment plan would be, Cedar Grove accepted the plan, referred it to the Cedar Grove Planning Board, which is required under redevelopment law. Cedar Grove's Planning Board reviewed it, sent it back to the council, and then the council on 2 separate nights, just like we do our ordinances, has now adopted this as an overlay to the redevelopment plan. So let me just kind of walk through what this new plan does. This new plan offers 77.5 acres of new open space. It's no longer just the line of green and the box in the corner, but it's substantially more green space. And you know, one of the elements that I like is it encompasses or it adds to the historic Hilltop Reservation. So now the reservation goes from the top of the hill all the way down to Fairview Avenue, and as well as preserving other areas of the former site. Now, I should let you know that some in Cedar Grove were disappointed, at least some from folks from the public, because they wanted it to just be a solid open space, and some felt as though this was either a buffer or it was moved around. But this was intentionally done this way by the township. The township wanted to slide the development as far as it could to the south. And so while some look at it and say, well, it's separated or it's a buffer, this is 77.5 acres of new open space. It will be a 61.5 acre development site. That development site will include 460 townhouses, 90 of which will be affordable.
90?
90.
How many in total?
90.
No.
460 total.
460.
90 affordable. I know someone passed around an article
Mr.
before.
Paganelli?
Yes, ma'am.
Why not 92? 20% of 460 is COA requirement for affordable housing. You can hold that question and we'll keep going.
Okay. So there's a for those of us that were at the Cedar Grove meeting the other night, there's a confluence of issues that have brought this plan together. I think for the township's purposes, the biggest driver was COA. The governor has struggled with COA. The courts have struggled with COA. And the Supreme Court recently decided that the courts were going to deal with COA from now on.
For the record, can you just explain a little bit about what COA is?
Sure. The Council on Affordable Housing is supposed to be an agency that reviews municipalities' affordable housing and decide how many more units of certain municipalities should build out. That, unfortunately, that agency, without trying to be derogatory about it, was dysfunctional. And ultimately, the courts decided that as of July 8th of this year, builders can bring something called builders' remedy lawsuits to compel municipalities to develop affordable housing. Now, we indicated before that Parcel 1 was already sold to Cedar Grove a number of years ago. That Parcel 1 was about 48 acres. Kay Hovnanian has already initiated a lawsuit against Cedar Grove to make all of those acres affordable. Their application in front of the Cedar Grove Planning Board, I think, was 425, 435 affordable units. Almost the same amount of total development here. So, I think Cedar Grove looked at that. They had special counsel that spoke the other night at their adoption meeting. And his advice to them was this was a way that you can control your development, you can satisfy your COA obligations. They are getting other things from Kay Hovnanian in this transaction, which are a new firehouse, a development of a ball field here, a $1 million redevelopment fee, and a pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes, which most of the municipalities have dealt with Hilltop did. So from our perspective, or my perspective at the very least, Cedar Grove, while in a difficult and tight situation for its exposures that may result as a result of K. Hovnanian owning this parcel 1 already, Cedar Grove struck the best deal it could strike and got what they could out of this deal. For the county, what does it mean? We would want the whole thing to be green. I hope I can speak for the county executive on that point, because I've heard him say it a million times to me, I want the whole thing green. But we also recognize that there's 3 players here.
Except for the 92 units.
The Cedar Grove is a player here, K. Hovnanian is a player here, and the County of Essex is a player here. So the County of Essex develops or proposes a new 77.5-acre open space park, and I'll talk about that in a second. But there's other things that are beneficial to the County of Essex here. One of them is, under the original transaction, all environmental costs for all of Hilltop, over $500,000, were the county's responsibility. That meant the old jail, that meant the old hospital center. So that was an exposure we were facing. The other aspect of this is that for lands that we were keeping, the county had demolition exposure, meaning we had the legal requirement to demolish the buildings. In this new proposed settlement that we have in front of the Freeholder Board tonight, the environmental exposure shifts completely over to K. Hovnanian. We have no environmental responsibility. And the demolition of the buildings are completely switched over to K. Hovnanian. For those of you who have been through, this parcel 1 was already cleared through the efforts of the county executive in dealing with K. Hovnanian in the past, and we thought there was other transactions that may solve this issue. It now has one building on it, it's the old firehouse. That will come down to K. Hovnanian's expense. The power plant that's there, if you drive through, you can see the large old chimney there. That all comes down to K. Hovnanian's expense. So for the county, we can create a 77.5-acre park. We can shift responsibility away from us in terms of environmental, and we can shift away the demolition of those buildings that would have been ours anyway. And it ends a lawsuit that's been going on for 8 years and has been costly. Now, there were some the other night that said we should just litigate this thing and see where it plays out. For those who say that, there are risks. For Cedar Grove, the risk was what's going to happen to us on parcel 1 with K. Hovnanian that already owns 48 acres. The other aspect that was a bit of a risk for Cedar Grove was, what happens if the county loses this lawsuit and is compelled to transfer that property over to K. Hovnanian, and then K. Hovnanian comes forward with a development plan for all affordable, if possible, of 130, 140 acres of land. I think those were the drivers for Cedar Grove settling and adopting this new redevelopment plan. And I think the drivers that I mentioned before in terms of avoiding further litigation, shifting risk on environmental, and shifting risk on demo is why I'm proposing this settlement. One other thing that I think I should point out. On the hilltop proper, under the former administration, the state bought what we call a conservation easement. And it basically is, we still own the land, but overlaying that land is an easement that says forever, in perpetuity, this property will be kept as green and open. The county executive has already embarked on a challenge with the state of New Jersey to get that same designation for all the green space that you see on this map, subject except for the properties that were already green in the lighter green color. The money we got from K. Hovnanian for parcel 1 stays with the county. We do not pay that money back. But we do have the ability now to go to the state, if they do a Green Acres program, to try to remonetize this 77.5 acres. So we can monetize our open space, we can avoid demo, we can avoid the environmental cleanup. We get 77, or we keep 77.5 acres open, and we've kept our promises to the local municipalities that they would always be in control, they would always make the decision, that we would follow them. And I know that's something the president, made, when we talked about this, aside from the 90-92 on the affordable, she wanted to make sure that the local municipalities got their voice. And, I think early on in this process there was some, I don't want to say misreporting, but I think there was an error, because many in Cedar Grove was told that the county had already sold parcel 5, so it was over. That was never true. This board knows that probably on 3 or 4 occasions I've listed this same resolution, only to withdraw it to allow Cedar Grove more time to study and look at this thing. So one other thing, Madam President, I know you have a long agenda, and I apologize because I'm nothing if I'm not long-winded. There have been those that have asked me about what will the park look like, what will we do there. For those of you who have known me for a long time, I'm not a parks person. I think we all know who the parks person is. He has transformed Essex County in terms of parks. But as represented by the county executive the other night, the last 2 meetings we were at with the Cedar Grove Council and their residents, the vision for this park is to be passive. The county executive stands next to no one in terms of park development. The beautiful job Parks and Danny has done with parks. But we wanted to give them, a bit of a visual on this. So the visual is kind of the historical lighting, the walking paths, the benches. It's literally just a passive recreation area. I don't know if Dan and the county executive through their planning may not come up with, I know they have some recreational equipment along some paths, or maybe a playground down the road, but literally this is going to be a beautiful setting, a bucolic setting, open space, and dedicated to passive recreation, nothing active other than, as I indicated before, the field that will be built on the bottom. I think, Madam President, that sums this up. I do think it's, from my perspective, it's been a lot of work. It's been years of work. This transaction started in 1995, 20 years ago. It's aging me daily. But I think finally we've hit the spot where the county is protected, Cedar Grove is protected, and K. Hovnanian, I'm certain, feels like they'll make enough money off it, and so that they're.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Salam, any questions or comments? Mr. McInerney?
The acreage for the park is deeded to the county, correct? That's in the county. That's in the county's thing.
If I may, Madam President, let me just work through, just quick mechanics on it, because there's really 3 things that are going on. Mr. McInerney, Madam President, through you, there are some properties that I indicated are already owned by K. Hovnanian, and that's the former parcel 1, which is this L this way. That's coming back to the county for $1. That's approximately 48 acres of parcel 1.
Okay.
The remainder of the parcel, the remainder 90 acres, is a combination of either a transfer from the county to the Improvement Authority to KHOV in accordance with the contract, or it's a release of KHOV to claims the property. So, for instance, this parcel down here was part of the old parcel 5. K. Hovnanian has filed what's called a lis pendens over that property, so it lets the world know that you shouldn't be doing anything with it. That gets released, and we get a release. Some of this, the orange, will get deeded from the county to the Improvement Authority and then out to KHOV in accordance with the contract. So you have 3 things going.
But what's left over is, with regard to the the open space that you just said makes up the Cedar Grove Park. Eventually, via the release or transfers, it is titled to the County of Essex.
Yes, it'll either stay with us now, if it was the former parcel 5, or it'll come back directly to the county, not through the Improvement Authority, if it was old parcel 1.
Okay, so it's either coming back to the Improvement Authority or it's coming directly to, the county. Either way, we wind up with 77 acres deeded and titled to the County of Essex.
Yes, Madam President, through you, the properties that are coming back are coming straight to the county. The properties that are being released are released straight to the county because the county still owns it. And the property going to Hovnanian will straw man through the Improvement Authority off to Hov in accordance with the contract.
Okay, all right. And as far as the settlement agreement goes, I haven't seen a copy of it. We'd like to get a copy of that,
Sure.
but I think you've explained it well enough here. The point is, there's no monetary exchange of funds. This is strictly a reassignment of titles to lands and rights to those lands in order to expedite this and clear it.
Madam President, through you, that's correct, other than, again, my hope that we can monetize that 77.5 acres.
But we're also eliminating the demolition, which we were concerned about with regard to the hospital center, as well as the potential for, heavy environmental cost.
You shift the risk of environmental cost, Madam President, you shift the risk of demolition, and you get rid of the cost of litigation.
Yeah, well, there's no risk to the demolition. It had to come down at some point.
Correct.
Of course, it had to be there.
Correct.
Good stuff. Please come forward, Mr. County Executive.
Thank you, Madam President. The day after the vote that Cedar Grove voted, I believe it was June 8th, in reference to passing this, which of course, Jimmy says 8 years. It's more, we've been thinking, it started really in 1995. Those 77 acres, the appraisal for that land is approximately $14 million. I sent a letter, of course, to the governor, to his chief of staff, to the DEP, requesting $14 million. There's no way we're going to get $14 million in 1 year, especially because of Green Acres is. But to get it spread over 3 to 4 years and get the land preserved forever, so trust is in Cedar Grove that there will be no longer development over there, and this will become another county park. This will be number 5 that we added just in the last 4 years here in this thing, which, I just got off the phone tonight with Bob Martin from DEP, and he understands what I want. We're going to send him a letter, we're going to send him the appraisal, and we're going to move forward to get the money for that particular thing. The big win situation for us, which was unknown, was what Jimmy explained, our exposure. When it comes to demolition, it's zero cost. When it comes to environmental, we were still responsible not only for that hospital center, but also for the jail, which there's no environmental cost. And there's no way it was only going to cost the county $500,000 for environmental costs there. You're talking about millions of dollars. Jim Paganelli, just like he did at United Hospital for, made a sensational deal for us, the taxpayers of Essex County, and just like here, he was able to close this particular parcel, which we're very, very happy. And we're going to get another additional, we're going to get money to develop the park, and we're going to get additional 77 acres open space.
And Mr. Executive, just for formalities, state your name and affiliation for the record and those watching at home.
Joe DiVincenzo, Essex County Executive. I'm sorry the way I look, but I did go home after we had lunch and I did work out.
Madam President, just one thing if I could add to what the county exec said. The environmental issues also are just not in terms of cleanup. They're also, we get from Hovnanian indemnifications if there are any claims made down the road. For instance, the county did transactions with Hovnanian and Verona a number of years ago. Unbeknownst to us and them, a claim arose as a result of the property that went over there. That's also something that will be included in this, where Hovnanian is not only doing the cleanup, but if there's anything that comes along down the road, we are indemnified, held harmless, and defended by Hovnanian. It's important because there's a lot of, this property is it's been there for a long time, and it's another important protection we're going to have going forward.
Thank you. Mr. Paganelli, yes. Before I turn over to the freeholders' questions, yes. Can you please explain to me the 90 versus 92? Because 20% of 460 is 92. And it may sound small for 2 housing units. However, if it's designated for those who are working and, making about $50,000 a year and need a place to live, and that's what affordable housing is, and it comes with a stigma sometimes. However, it should not, because it's for people just like me that may want to live next door to someone in Cedar Grove. So, can you explain?
Sure, Madam President, the number of units, the style of units, and the issue that you're raising, whether it's 90 or 92, was all part really of the settlement by and between Cedar Grove and K. Hovnanian. I think Cedar Grove believes that's the number that they need to satisfy their obligations here. And so while I recognize your point, and I have recognized your point on a number of occasions, that was really something handled between Cedar Grove and the developer.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Luciano?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. And I want to just put on the record that I know I met with you yesterday. As the District 4 freeholder, I asked that the rest of the freeholders, the administration, bear with me. I have about 5 to 10 minutes that I would like to ask some questions, and I have some comments I'd like to make for the record. This is a very sensitive issue, especially to me as the district freeholder and to the community, so please bear with me. I'd like to first preface my comments by saying that County Executive DiVincenzo and Councilor Jim Paganelli have spent many years trying to reach an agreement for this parcel. I've sat on this freeholder board since 2011, and I know that we've been battling litigation, and it is something I just want to commend you, County Executive, and Mr. Paganelli for your efforts. At that, I passed out an article. I hope all the freeholders were able to read this, or at least briefly look through it. I want to start with a quote that was in this article. This is an article from the Cedar Grove Verona Times of last week, and the quote is from a resident, and the resident says, "When we develop this property, it is forever, and the decision to develop this property needs to be made carefully." So at that, moving forward, the first thing I wanted to talk about with Mr. Paganelli is the original plan you showed us, as opposed to the plan you show me now, had age restrictions. Is that correct, Mr. Paganelli?
The original development scheme was, let me just put it up so that we can take a look at it. I think, Madam President, Freeholder is referring to what this big brown area is in the center of the map, and it was considered a continuing care retirement community. It did include age-restricted housing.
Thank you. So that would bring me to, my next point, and before you answer any questions, let me just read some of them that I have here, and that's, now that we don't have age restriction,
Can I just ask a
Sure.
favor then, Madam President? If you're going to ask a few, I'm not that bright. Can I just grab my pen?
Yeah, please, if you feel more comfortable over at that microphone, too.
I want to jot down what you're asking
Sure.
me so I can
So you can remember it.
And thank you, Madam President and freeholders. So, Mr. Paganelli, now that we're not age restricted and we have 460 some odd units, the first question that I'd like to bring to the administration and to the rest of the freeholders has to do with the school district. If you look at this article right on the front, you'll see a quote to the right where the Board of Ed president of Cedar Grove makes a quote where he says, "We don't have the room in any of those schools." So with 466 townhomes with an estimated of roughly 1,000 people, which again this article says is roughly 1,000 people, what do we do with the students? Residents have contacted me with concerns their children will have to attend school in trailers, or the Board of Ed will need to build expansion wings, new schools, and hire additional staff, which will crush the community in taxes and bond debt. I also want to note for the record that Cedar Grove is a Group 1 school. Anyone who follows schools knows that Group 1 through 5 is New Jersey, Group 1 being the smallest and 5 being the largest. Approximately 1,600 students attend public school in Cedar Grove, K through 12th grade. As a public school teacher myself, I know firsthand that small class sizes are ideal for learning, and there are national statistics and documents that represent the students in small learning environments receive more instruction and individual attention, ultimately a better education. So these are the questions that I ask about the school district. And if you don't have an answer, I understand, and that's okay, but I want to make sure that they're on record. Has the county administration addressed the issue of with the school superintendent and the Board of Ed? Have we had any dialogue? And if so, are there any documents that have been provided to the freeholders?
Mr. Paganelli?
Yep. So just so that we're all on the same page, what the CCRC was going to allow for the development was going to be 1,000 units of housing in the form of apartments containing 1 and 2 bedrooms. The units themselves were going to be centered around support facilities such as community center, communal dining, convenience stores, and/or boutiques, and there was going to be this central clinic. The reason why I just want to make sure that we all understand what was going to be there. Mr. Tucci, the township manager for Cedar Grove the other night, did, I think, a really fine job, a thorough job of walking through all of the community impacts, whether it was water, sewer, traffic. All of those issues were reviewed by the township, and all those issues came back with the winning or the better proposal for the township to be what you see here in front of you with the open space as provided in this settlement. Every issue. Now, there was one issue that obviously was going to have a bit more of an impact with that plan rather than this plan, and that was school. Now, you have to remember that if there is no settlement today, or there's no settlement, then these 45 or so single-family homes will generate whatever school-age children they generate. There's something called the Rutgers study out there that is a formulary for determining the number of school children per types of housing units. So while this plan, yes, will generate more school children, it was an analysis that was undertaken by the municipality, which I think is the appropriate party to do that type of analysis. And the council also noted that a pilot agreement, as I think the freeholders know, pilot agreements provide for 5% of the pilot agreement to come to the county of Essex, and really 95% of the money stays with the municipality. Somewhat unfair if you're a school board member or your students and you're worried about that split. And the way that they are going to approach the money...
Freeholder Paganelli, could I just say something, Madam President?
Mr. Executive?
Yeah, I don't want to cut him off because this is really not our responsibility. With all due respect to Freeholder Luciano, all right, he has 11 towns that he represents. All politics is local, and the council is responsible for making those decisions, not this freeholder board. I want you to know. We don't make decisions what happens in Newark. We don't make decisions what happens in Millburn. Those people are elected to serve their municipalities. They're ultimately, the questions that he's asking is not for us. Those are questions that have been asked for us for the last 15 years. I have never heard questions like that being presented to a board like it's being presented today, like it's our responsibility. It's their responsibility. To ask my council to talk for reference to Cedar Grove just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense, Freeholder, with all due respect. This is something that we've been going over for, and Mr. McInerney knows this, it's 20 years, the last 10 years resolved. He's asking us about school children that attend in Cedar Grove. That is the responsibility and the obligation of the council people that are elected in Cedar Grove.
Mr. Executive, I fully understand.
All right?
Okay?
And if he had an interest here
Executive.
representing that district, he should have been at the meetings when it was being discussed in Cedar Grove. He's been an elected official since 2011. This is the first time that I'm ever hearing questions being brought to the table.
Mr. Executive?
It's absurd.
I understand. Okay? However, we're going to, go through the process, and Freeholder Luciano has his questions.
Jimmy, can I see you for a second?
Mr. Paganelli? One moment.
So, Madam President, again, I had the floor before I was interrupted. And I just want to put on the record, I have all the respect in the world for the county executive, who I consider my friend. But there's no correlation to what you just said at the microphone, because There's no correlation, because if the Cedar Grove Council voted...
Did they vote 401?
Excuse me. If they voted to raise taxes in Cedar Grove, does that mean that the...
Freeholder Luciano.
The freeholders should
Freeholder
raise
Luciano.
taxes?
Freeholder Luciano, as well as Mr. County Executive. Okay? These are my chambers. We have never had, while I'm sitting in this seat, any back and forth going.
I'm sorry,
And we will
Madam
not
President.
start it now.
I'm sorry, Madam President.
So I'm going to ask that you respect my meeting.
Yes.
Now, as is, I understand that Freeholder Toro as well as Freeholder Siebold has their hand up. But as is the practice of the chamber, okay? Freeholder Luciano had some questions. We will be taking action on this tonight. I, one, am in favor of it, especially because of the affordable housing component, which is no secret that I'm always in support of that. Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. And again, I'm sorry, and I apologize for responding to the public, as we don't normally do that. But I just want to continue because I had the floor. And you know what, Mr. Paganelli, rather than have you answer, I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to read my statement, Madam President, and after my statement, I will be completed. So,
go ahead.
Thank you. If I can just do that. It will take me about 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes.
Go right ahead.
So I asked the question about schools. Then the question I had was about traffic. 1,000 people equals how many cars daily? Rush hour traffic is already incredibly busy on Bloomfield Avenue, a county road. Route 23, which is a state road. Fairview Avenue, which I want to remind everyone is the road this development is being built and is also the same road Verona High School is located on. Even Pleasant Valley Way, which is a county road that runs through Verona, comes from a major highway, Route 280, which is the direction on Pleasant Valley Way that it is towards the new proposed development. So all my questions were, as far as traffic goes, were how are Cedar Grove and Verona going to deal with the additional vehicles and traffic when they are already suffering now? How has a traffic study been performed by the developer, county, or either of the two local towns? I also wanted to talk about infrastructure. With 460 new units on mostly abandoned or reservation land, how much infrastructure is needed? Water, sewer, utilities such as electric, gas, and cable. Is there a plan? How will this affect the two communities? Will there be major road closures for months, years? How will the county roads, traffic patterns, and signals be impacted? Next topic, municipal election. 3 weeks ago, Cedar Grove had a municipal election. A virtual unknown candidate, a fellow who never served on any boards in town, doesn't have any children in the school system, and never ran for office before was elected. He ran his race with very little campaign funds on only one issue: no hilltop development. And I was very concerned when I drove through the community because I saw hundreds of signs that looked like this on front lawns in my district. As district freeholders, how would you feel if you drove through the community and then you saw an individual win an election based on one sole issue? Just for the record. Then there were the meetings. It came to my attention after the fact that the county administration attended the last 2 local meetings. Meetings that were heavily attended by 100+ residents, if you look at the article that I've provided to you. Were the freeholders invited to attend these meetings by the local council? I don't think so. But we also, I don't believe, were complimented with an invitation by the administration. No phone call, email, or memo was sent to me as the district freeholder. After these meetings, as the district freeholder, I was not briefed. I don't know if any of the other freeholders were provided with information as to how the meetings went or the resident concerns until I just heard Mr. Paganelli now tell me that there were resident concerns, local council concerns, and Board of Ed concerns. Counselor, the one question I asked before I finish my statement, is there a time constraint that you know of, a major time constraint, that is the means of necessary for us to vote on this tonight? Because if you don't, my suggestion, and I ask the freeholder leadership and other freeholders, please consider that when we and I vote, we are accountable to our constituents. Our freeholder form of government 9 months a year reflects a conference meeting to discuss and vet agenda items, and then the following week a board meeting where we vote. Sadly, this is June, one of the 3 months we combine meetings, so we are asked to discuss and take no voting action on the agenda items the same night. This is way too sensitive an item to discuss and vote on the same meeting. I am asking that we list list, and I would support and vote yes to list this resolution for 2 weeks from tonight, not just because I'm not comfortable, but because the Freeholder Board has, long before I was a freeholder, started a good government tradition of holding one meeting a month in a municipality out amongst our county to make it convenient and accessible for all residents to attend. It just so happens our meeting June 24th is being held in Montclair, which is the neighboring municipality to Cedar Grove and Verona, a 10-minute car ride that could offer the residents a chance to come and speak to us, giving them the best and most convenient opportunity to attend. This resolution is a prime example of why we go out into the community, so that people have a chance. This would also provide more time for the freeholders, including myself, to advertise our meeting voting on this to the local news publications, because it's a highly sensitive matter. And we deserve to do our due diligence and encourage public participation, not bring this to the floor for one meeting and just quickly vote on it. It'll also give me a chance to sit with the county administration. I'd like to discuss this further. I would like to also reach out to some of the local municipal council and talk to the Board of Education in Cedar Grove and Verona and hear their concerns. I also would like to open the floor to other freeholders, but before I do, I want to just read one last quote. Deputy Mayor of Cedar Grove, Joe Chisulo, quotes in this article, "This requires a lot of information that the council has been privy to, and I don't know of anyone here that I'm sitting with, meaning his council colleagues, that is in favor of this. Yet he voted for it. So my question would be, why wouldn't the freeholders, being we're a second layer of government, and when the buck stops here, want to be privy to this information and vote tonight to move this and put it on the agenda on the 24th? And that's all I have to say, and I appreciate the floor, Madam President.
Mr. Paganelli?
Madam President, this is time sensitive, so I would say it's important that we move tonight.
Thank you. Freeholder Luciano, I will say that, yes, there has been many work sessions about this, even in my 6-month time here. There has been many work sessions, as I know for a fact that there were times in which you were briefed personally. And the only thing I have to say before I turn over to Freeholder Seabolt is the 10-minute car ride from Cedar Grove to Montclair to get residents here. If this is such an important issue, which as it has been in the newspaper, and this is something that they wanted to fight for, they can come to Newark. That offends me whenever people do not want to drive to Newark for an issue, and they need to go from one suburban town to another suburban town. That means it's not that important to them. Freeholder Seabolt?
Thank you very much. Now, first I want to say that I could sit here and answer Len Luciano on almost every single statement that he made. I'm not going to go ahead and do that, but to just say one thing. At one point, we met in every municipality, and no one from the municipalities came to the meetings, but I'm not going to even go into that. I've been on this board for many years. I think it's approximately 20 years ago when this whole situation developed, and our county executive, Joe DiVincenzo, was president of the Freeholder Board. And Jim Paganelli was a freeholder with me on this Freeholder Board. And we had one meeting after another about the Hilltop situation. And quite truthfully, that means it's about 20 years. I never, ever, ever believed that we would reach the point we are reaching tonight, where this situation could actually be ended. And I must commend Jim Paganelli for doing so much work for so many years. I can't think of a better situation we could have than what the county council has presented to us tonight. I never, ever, ever expected it to be this good. When it first started, we were going to have thousands of residents, thousands of homes, luxurious homes built. We were going to have apartments. It was going to be nothing the way it exists tonight as what we were presented. I think we should move on this tonight. I am delighted that we are finally reaching a conclusion, and it's a good conclusion. And I have to congratulate the county executive, and I have to congratulate Jim Paganelli for doing such extensive work so that tonight, finally, we are getting to vote. And I'm hoping that you will all agree with me
And we will come to this vote tonight and finally, after 20 years, be finished, and finished at what is beneficial to all of us.
Thank you. Freeholder Toro?
Well,
I got myself up.
great. I just want to thank Mr. Paganelli for really eloquently and thoroughly explaining everything from beginning to end, the whole history of it. As a new freeholder, you know, I was able to follow through and understand it. And I know one thing, that lawsuits are lengthy and expensive, and I'm very content to hear that, you know, if this passed, that, you know, environmental issues and demolition would no longer be an issue for the county. So with that, I had a question, and I have a question, and that is, what's the probability that KHOV would change their development plans with the 460 townhouses after this is done and settled?
Mr. Paganelli?
Madam President, the developer, Cahoe Indian, and the Township of Cedar Grove are going to enter into a developer agreement. That developer agreement, along with the local new ordinance, will control that there'll be no different development other than what's depicted here tonight.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great, I'm happy with that response. Thank you.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder
Through you, Madam President,
Johnson.
this is a comment because I believe in when your town council and everyone gets together and approves something, especially a person like myself and some of us that don't live in the town. We can't really say what's good for the town. I wouldn't expect some of the freeholders to tell me what's good for Newark, in which I have experienced that in that last election myself, that, you know, if the town wants it and they approve it, I wouldn't fight it because of the fact that, because that's what they want. That's where they live. You know, they have a right to what they want and where they live.
That's right. Town council called it to vote, and they voted in support of it. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Bobadilla?
tell you, a short period of time, this has been a work session meeting that we are all quite familiar with. And I am glad that the administration and the council have reached a point of to an end to this. And it's one of those bad marriages that you kind of inherit. But, there are, my fellow freeholder, Luciano, does mention some things, because there is, despite the fact that the council voted on it, there are some great concerns there of the local. Obviously, they don't have the deep pockets that the county does, so they can't risk litigation, especially if it's long-term. And I think that's one of the reasons why they went ahead and, did what they did with their vote. But, when you look at the whole picture, that's an aggregate. When you look at the pros of the risk cost and the litigation cost and the environmental mediation, I mean, there are good elements in there. I understand that, there's some concerns to the municipality, and they're fair, they're valid. But I think sometimes you have to make decisions, even if they just meet 40, 60. And I think this is the best that can be done at this time. But I do want to commend the administration and Mr. Pagnelli, because I know we spent quite a bit of budget money on this, and I'm glad that it's come to an end. So thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions? Again, I am 100% in support of this, not because, in fact, the least reason is because our county executive is here yelling. That is not the reason why I'm in support of this. This is the Freeholder Board, and every single freeholder has the right and the opportunity to ask what it is that they want to ask. I am in support of this because it's good for the county. This is something that has been going on for 20 years, and we have been losing money, taxpayer money, in litigation over this. And Freeholder Luciano being against it, I understand your point that you have laid out. However, you have voted yes in support of the litigation continuing over those years in your term on the board. Furthermore, again, yes, I do wish it was 92. I understand that's not my jurisdiction. However, it's going to bring 90 units of housing for people who are low to moderate income. I know more low to moderate income people than I do people who aren't low to moderate income. So that stigma that comes with people not wanting that in their community, it comes from a bigoted place. And that's why I am in support of this. Do I have a mover in a second? Moved by Freeholder Seabold.
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Present, not voting.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Seabold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, now let's move to resolutions number 12 through 16, which are all dealing with the Department of Parks and Recreation and Cultural Affairs.
Resolution 12, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Contract Award to Carnival Concessions, the highest responsive and responsible revenue-generating bidder to provide food services for the summer concert series in Brookdale Park and Branchbrook Park. Revenue $3,100. Resolution 13, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Contract Award to Aqua Mist Irrigation of New Jersey, LLC, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide irrigation maintenance and repair services. 12-month agreement, amount not to exceed $364,585. Resolution 14, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Contract Award to Ideal Equipment and Supply, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for rental of portable diesel-powered generators, 24-month contract, amount not to exceed $112,000. Resolution 15, Department of Parks, Recreation, Cultural Affairs Contract Award to United Rental North America, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the rental of portable diesel-powered lighted towers, 24-month agreement, amount not to exceed $32,720. Resolution 16, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Amendment to License Agreement with Seton Hall University to utilize Ivy Hill Park.
Have a sip of water. Mr. Chalella, please explain resolution number 12.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. This is out of the Department of Parks. This is revenue to the county in the amount of $3,100, and this vendor will provide for hot food and fried dough at the summer concert series at Branchbrook and Brookdale Park.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Thank you. And this doesn't have to be a big issue at all, but if we can just, just as a suggestion to the administration, if we can recommend healthier foods from the vendors, I would appreciate that.
Through you, Madam President, I think that Cal left the barn on this one because one of the concession items is fried dough.
That's what I'm pointing out to.
Is that also known as funnel cake? Because
Funnel cake, and in the Italian community, zapalas, and in New Orleans, beignets.
Is there a resolution or ordinance that says on the book something along the lines it's illegal not to have funnel cake at these things?
No, it's not.
All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Slom, do you have any questions? No questions. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions? Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments regarding 12? Okay. If not, I'm going to hold the vote until we get through 16 as well. Mr. Chella, can you please explain number 13?
13 is Parks' annual contract with Aqua Mist Irrigation of New Jersey. They provide for maintenance and repair of all irrigation systems throughout our entire park system, as well as our 3 golf courses.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney? Okay, thank you. Ms. Chella, can you please explain number 14?
14 is our Parks Department contract with Ideal Equipment. They provide a portable diesel powered generators that we use in conjunction with Resolution 15, which are the lights, and these are used throughout the entire summer and throughout the year for the summer concert series, as well as other cultural events held in our parks.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Salam, any questions or comments? None, thank you. Mr. McInerney?
No questions, no comments.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McInerney, Mr. Chalala, can you please explain Resolution 15?
15, again, it's the Parks Department, their contract with United Rentals, and these are for the portable diesel-powered light towers that you'll see at many of the events in the evening throughout the summer concert series and other cultural events. These help provide for additional lighting for security as well as for the evening events that are held throughout the year.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Salam, do you have any questions or comments? None. Mr. McInerney? Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay. Please explain number 16.
If I could, Madam President, 16, 17, and 18 all pretty much flow together.
Okay, so I have 16, 17, and 18. That's Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, and 16 is Department of Parks and Recreation and Cultural Affairs.
It's all part of the same thing.
Okay. So 16, 17, 18. How about 19, Mr. Chalala?
And 19 and 20 could be grouped together.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders?
So, Madam President, you want me to read 17?
No, I don't want you to read 17. 16, 17, and 18 are together. Do I have a motion and a second to take 12 and 15 all together?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Seabolt, seconded by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
So, Madam President, we're taking 12 through 15 together?
Yes.
Okay. And Madam President, who moved?
I did.
Freeholder Seabolt, Freeholder Bobadilla.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Sebald?
Yes.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read 16, 17, and 18.
Resolution 16, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Amendment to License Agreement with Seton Hall University to utilize Ivy Hill Park. Resolution 17, County Budget Insertion of items from the revenue of Seton Hall University for Ivy Hill Park softball field improvements. Department of Parks, Recreation, Cultural Affairs, $1,500,000. Resolution 18, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Applied Landscape Technologies, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for Ivy Hill Park softball field improvements, 90-day contract, amount not to exceed $1,467,470.
Thank you. Mr. Chalala, can you please explain Resolution 16?
Yes, Madam President. I'm pleased to announce an amendment to a license agreement with Seton Hall University to utilize Ivy Hill Park. As you know, that the women's softball team from Seton Hall uses as a portion of that field as their home field. It's also available to the community. This amendment to their 25-year agreement with the county is they will provide for the old arrangement was they would pay the county $20,000 per year for the permit each year for that softball field. The new agreement calls for that payment to be reduced to $10,000 per year under the life of the agreement. However, they will be donating $1.5 million toward the improvements of the ball field as well as the grandstands and the improvements for that entire construction project. Resolution 17 is the actual insertion of Seton Hall's grant to the County of Essex of $1.5 million toward the Ivy Hill softball field improvements. And Resolution 18 is the actual contract award to construct the new synthetic field as well as the grandstands and bleachers in the amount of $1,467,470 to the lowest responsible bidder for this project.
Thank you. Ms. Salam, do you have any questions regarding 16, 17, and 18?
None.
Mr. McInerney?
I do. Nothing takes place in terms of transfer of title or of the property, number one.
Through you, Madam President, no, it still is a county park. It's still the ownership of the county.
Okay, and number two is the cost is equal to the donation. The county is not expending any more funds above and beyond the donation.
Through you, Madam President, the entire project costs are being borne by Seton Hall University.
Okay. I have one other question. Deeds, the cost is the same. I can't remember the other question.
Mr. Chillo, is the vendor here?
Yes, we do have a representative from Applied Landscaping, Mr. Jerry Harper.
Okay, as well as the Parks Director, because I
Mr.
thought I saw
Salvati.
them come in. You know, anybody that's here for a particular resolution, I want them to come to the microphone and speak. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yeah, this question is to the administration. Does the improvement also, does that mean that Seton Hall would have exclusive rights of use?
Through you, Madam President, no. As in the agreement speaks out, Seton Hall is allowed 250 units a year. A unit is comprised of 3 hours. The balance is the county usage.
Thank you.
Okay. Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Hi, my name is Jerry Harper. I'm the Director of Turf Operations for Applied Landscape Technologies.
Okay. Would you like to explain?
We're going to do a removal of the existing synthetic turf that's there. That'll be recycled, and then we'll put the new application down along with the bleachers and the other amenities.
Okay. Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Toro.
Okay, so the reduction is from $20,000 to $10,000 a year up until the contract ends, which is in 2017. Once we renew the contract, do you have an idea what will be the monthly?
I will leave that to the new administration in 2017.
Okay. It's an important question. We want to know for how long these payments are going to be for.
Through you, Madam President, if there's any, we've been very successful in long-term partnerships. As you know, with our conservancies, they're 20, 25 years. So it's a pattern that has been successful. And if I'm always of the adage, if it's not broke, why fix it? So hopefully, when that lease is expired, they'll look at the history, the relationship between the two parties. If it's worked, I'm sure they'll engage in a long-term lease again.
Thank you.
Okay. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Richardson?
Yes, your company, where you located?
We're in Montville, New Jersey.
In Montville? Do you, are you a union shop?
Yes, sir, we are.
That's good. You employ any Essex County residents?
We do. Yes, sir.
Got an idea of approximately how many?
No, I have about 47 guys that work under me. A good majority of them here locally. I'd say, it's probably about a 50-50 split.
Fantastic, outstanding.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Mr. McInerney?
My last question was, I'm assuming this is running through general capital. If you could find out, I mean, maybe this is like more, this is not a revenue item as much as a kind of a grant to fund the improvements?
Yeah, Frank, it basically will come in the way the funds will come in. Seton Hall will, upon the start of the project, will give the county $750,000, and upon completion of the project, the balance $750,000 will be deposited in the county's treasury.
I'm just trying to start. This is done through our capital account.
Yes.
I'm sure it is. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Thank you. That was my last question.
Okay. Do you have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by
Second.
Freeholder Sebo, seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. So moved. For the record, we took 16 through 18 altogether in that vote. Thank you so much for coming to explain. Madam Clerk, can you please read 19 and 20 together?
Resolution 19, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, authorization to use the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund, Ivy Hill Park, tennis courts improvement, amount not to exceed $361,713. Resolution 20, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to CETA Construction Company, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the rehabilitation of tennis courts at Ivy Hill Park, 90-day contract, amount not to exceed $361,712.50.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chilala?
Yes, before I begin, I do believe we have a representative of CETA, and Mr. Salvante is still here if there's any additional questions. 19 is the actual authorization from Open Space to fund the improvements at Ivy Hill Park tennis courts. Resolution 20 is the actual contract award to CETA Construction. To do the construction, it's actually a reconstruction of 4 tennis courts. 4 poles and 16 lights will receive LED lighting. There'll be a 10-foot high fence between the courts and gates. There'll be pathways around the courts, benches and trash receptacles, as well as drainage improvements. And finally, tree trimming will be conducted around the courts.
Okay, thank you.
Will the representative from CETA come forward?
No, go ahead. I'm waiting for you to speak.
I'm sorry, would you put your name on the record and tell us about your company?
My name is Pepe Carretero. I'm the general manager of CETA Construction.
Okay, do you want to tell us a little bit about the resolution and what it is you all are?
We're going to remove all these tennis courts, you know, the fence, put up everything brand new over there, you know, and basically it, you know.
Freeholders, any questions or comments?
Dan is behind them.
Mr. Salvante, I saw you come forward as well. Would you like to go on the record to explain this?
Dan Salvante, Director, Essex County Park System. As Mr. Chilello said, these 4 courts are not usable at this time, so this will be a definite enhancement to the Ivy Park community for the residents to enjoy the great game of tennis.
Thank you. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Dan, are the improvements to be made similar to the ones that we have in the North Ward?
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And 20 runs together as well. Mr. Chilala?
I believe 21 and 22 go together.
21 and
21 and 22, but I'm asking you about 19 and 20.
Yes.
Okay, so freeholders, any other questions or comments? Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney, do I have a motion and a second to take 19 and 20 together?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Seabolt, seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Please read 21 and 22 together, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 21, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, authorization to use the Essex County Recreation Open Space Trust Fund to the Brookdale Park Playground improvements, amount not to exceed $1,222,410. Resolution 22, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to TechCon Contractors, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for Brookdale Park Playground improvements, 90-day agreement, amount not to exceed $1,222,410.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chilla, can you please explain?
Yes, 21 is the authorization to utilize the Essex County Open Space Trust Fund to fund the improvements at Brookdale Park Playground. 22, I should point out that the vendor, Ms. Sylvia Farrow, the president, is here this evening with us from TechCon. They will be doing the improvements. Currently, there are 4 separate play areas at Brookdale Park. This project, or this construction project, will create one large, huge area and which will help increase safety. There'll be 2 playground areas with the installation of new playground equipment for ages 2 through 5 and 5 through 12, like most of our playgrounds, as well as a new safety surface. They'll be included in that will be picnic tables, benches, and trash receptacles, as well as a bicycle rack, as well as the installation of a drinking fountain and water misters.
Thank you very much. Please have the representative come forward.
Ms.
And for the
Farrow.
representative, please state your name and affiliation for the record, because I will be waiting for you to speak.
Good evening, everybody. It was very exciting tonight. I never saw our county executive get so excited, but it was nice. Anyway. My name is Sylvia Farrow, and I'm from TechCon Contractors. We're located in East Orange, New Jersey. I am a 100% female-owned contractor since 1980. I actually started the company in 1980. And I'm very happy to construct your playground, and you did a very good job describing it. And we're going to remove all the 4 little playgrounds that he mentioned, and we're going to build a huge playground enclosed with fencing and a couple drinking fountains, safety surface, trash receptacles, benches, and that's about it.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Seabolt?
Just a comment. I know you've been before us
Yes.
previously, and you do wonderful work, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We really try very hard, you know.
You do
Yes.
great work.
Yeah.
Freeholder Toro?
Just really excited that this is on the agenda. It's in my new neighborhood. I recently moved there 3 months
nice.
ago, and I look forward to attending, the playground, taking my children there to play, and I'm more excited to learn that the contractor is a female-owned and operated business, so.
It's going to be a beautiful playground, really beautiful. Yeah, very excited about building it. Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
And Ms. Salam, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney, any questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
I second
you.
what Freeholder Toro said. It's great to see a woman-owned business that's actually really operated and owned by a woman. It's empowering. Do I have a motion and a second to take 21 and 22 together? Moved by Freeholder Seabolt, seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Seabolt.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Can you please read resolutions 23 and 24 together?
And 60 is also Shaw. Yeah, I think that one too.
Is it in?
It's
Give me a moment.
okay.
Read 23 and 24 together.
23, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, authorization to use the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund to fund the Cherry Blossoms Children's Playground at Branchbrook Park, amount not to exceed $603,201. Resolution 24, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Shaw Proper Services, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, to provide Cherry Blossom Children's Playground at Branchbrook Park, 120-day contract, amount not to exceed $603,800.18.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chilla, can you please explain?
Yes, 23 again is the authorization to utilize the Essex County Recreation Open Space Trust Fund to fund the improvements at the Cherry Blossom Children's Playground at Branchwick Park in the amount of $603,201. 24 is the actual contract award to Sugar to do the actual construction. The construction will be for a brand-new playground for ages of 2 to 5-year-old, 5 to 12-year-olds. It will consist of swing sets, a rubberized safety surface, lion and a cub play structure, benches, trash receptacles, and a drinking fountain. This will actually abut one of the newer Newark public schools that had been constructed about 5 years ago, right adjacent to the Cherry Blossom Center building, and it'll be a big addition to the park. And the contractor from Sugar, Clarence, who's no stranger to this board, is here. If I can invite him up to the microphone.
Please come forward, Clarence. State your name and affiliation.
Yes, good evening. Clarence Nathaniel Scotties III, Sugar Group, Sugar Property Services. Also, I'd like to apologize for my dress attire. I usually come in with a suit and tie, but I came from a construction site prior to this meeting. This project is right in line with the work that we've done for the county in the past. This is a park improvement. As the summary was provided, new playground equipment, new poured-in-place safety surface, fencing, benches, trash receptacles, similar to the previous resolution park. Also large scale.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder Bobadilla. You have a question?
Yes.
Speak in the mic.
Through the administration,
He needs to speak into the mic.
Freeholder Bobadilla, can you use your microphone so our transcribers can get it?
Yes, I apologize. See how excited I am? No, but my kids, I live in the area now for 11 years, and we've been going to Belleville and other municipalities to enjoy some of their parks, and even Great Park, and now it's great to have one really locally there in the North Ward, and I want to say thank you for that, because I know that it's been on the radar for a bit, and we're glad it's there. And I also want to comment that it's also being built right next to the gardening center, correct?
That's
Which is another facility that we put up last year. I think the county is doing a phenomenal job giving our kids resources that they can enjoy. And my kid's also part of the First Tee program, so, if only more people would take advantage of that. It's amazing what we have here, so thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Ms. Salam?
No, thank you.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Do I have a motion and a second to take 23 and 24 together?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Sebo. Do I have a second? Second. A roll call, Madam Clerk.
Who's the second?
Me. Moved by Freeholder Sebo, seconded by Freeholder President.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill. Absent Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes on 22, I have to abstain on 23.
Yeah.
Okay. You got that? Freeholder.
So let me reset, let me take that vote back. The
Okay.
president not voting on 24, yes on 23.
Got that. Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go out of order. I need to move 60 as well as 61 up right here. Madam Clerk, can you please read 60?
Resolution 60, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering Contract Award to Sugar Property Services, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for additional landscape improvements along Orange Reservoir at South Mountain Recreation Complex in the amount not to exceed $156,020.30. Resolution 61, resolution supporting the additional funding in the state of New Jersey fiscal year 2016 budget in the amount of $6 million to bring the casino revenue funds, senior citizen and disabled residents transportation assistance program funding back to fiscal year 2012 levels, sponsored by Freeholders Timberlake and Seabolt.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Schiller, can you please explain 61? Maybe 60?
60, yes, Madam President. This is improvements around the Orange Reservoir. This is for additional landscaping. This is for planting, mulching, site preparation, as well as rock excavation. And Sugar Properties was the lowest responsible bid. And this is being funded out of the South Mountain Complex Enhancement Fund. And Clarence is...
Please come forward to the microphone again, Clarence. Name and affiliation.
Clarence Nathaniel Skynes III, the Sugar Group, Sugar Property Services.
Please explain this one.
This is simply landscaping work. There's no construction involved in this project. It's just landscaping.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Ms. Slum, do you have any questions? No questions. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
President not voting.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. 61. Mr. Chilala is a resolution.
Through Madam President, I believe it's the board's resolution.
Yes, it is, but I didn't know if you had something else to say on it as well. I know that you
I do, Madam
approved it.
President.
You do.
As you know, this resolution is asking the board to support for additional funds for the senior citizens and disabled residents involved in our transportation network. Mr. Vieira, as you know, is known nationally for this particular program. In fact, in President Obama's first inauguration speech, he highlighted this particular program. It's a highly successful program, and we could definitely use the additional dollars. And Mr. Vieira is here to speak on behalf of this request, and he's done a tremendous job for the County of Essex regarding this program.
Mr. Vieira, please come forward. State your name and affiliation for the record again.
Michael Vieira, and I'm proud to be here. Usually I'm here as a county representative, but today I'm here as the president of the New Jersey Council on Special Transportation. COST is the acronym. We had hired a public relations firm. As many of you know, as if you've been sitting on the Freeholder board long, the Casino Revenue Fund has 19 programs within it. Transportation, or the ScatterTap Fund or ScatterTap program, is one of those funding sources. It actually funds your special transportation program. Well, since 2008, that funding source through the Casino Revenue Fund has decreased by 52%. Actually, in 2008, the County of Essex received $2.7 million out of ScatterTap. Your 2016 allocation will be $1.2 million. So clearly, you've lost actually almost $1.5 million in those 6 years. What we're doing is we hired a public relations firm to try and ask the governor to put an additional $6 million into the ScatterTap program. Hopefully, with your approval tonight, Essex County will be the 13th county, along today with Morris County, who would support this resolution. Not sure how it's going to go. However, if we are successful with the asking the governor not to red pen or red line the $6 million, Essex County will receive an additional $456,971 come January 1st. I will also tell you that we already kind of know we only have about 2 months left for your 2017 ScatterTap funds. Expect another 8.5 to 10% decrease in that. We kind of already know your 2017 figure. Your 2016 was increased by about 1%, but that was only based because of Sandy. Sandy kind of messed everything up in the months of November, and Sandy and internet betting had given you a 1% increase for January of 2016, but 2017 expect another possibly 10% decrease. So again, we're asking for support along with the rest of the state. We also have petitions. We have about 20,000 petitions already signed by riders and people, seniors throughout New Jersey, that we will be delivering to the governor hopefully within 2 weeks.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Vieira. and that it really is wonderful, which is why it was a pleasure when I was presented with this 2 weeks ago to bring this to the board and be a sponsor to make sure that we get this done. Ironically, 2 weeks ago at our last board meeting, we were talking about the transportation for our seniors and how the funding was cut. And this is something that can bring revenue to a program that is robust here in Essex County, to a program that is needed. And anything that is bringing revenue to such, I am in support of. So I thank you so much for your diligent work that you have put in behind this resolution. Freeholders, any questions or comments?
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Thank you. First of all, those of you who know me know that many times in the past I have complimented Michael Vieira on all the great work he does for transportation right here in Essex County. And I've also talked about the fact that he's won awards at a much, much higher level, and he's been to conventions all over the country where he's been recognized for all the great work that he's doing. And when he first spoke to me about this resolution, I immediately felt that Essex County ought to join with the other counties. Now, did I hear you say that Morris County just passed it also?
Tonight, Morris County was the 12th. Hopefully tonight, Essex County will be the 13th, and then all the other counties will be jumping on board.
And hopefully this will help, and this will bring us more money where we need it, since we're losing out in terms of casino revenue. And thank you for all the great work that you do with this.
You're welcome, Freeholder.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? I'd like to move it. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Freeholder Siebold. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Yes. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Absolutely.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Now let us jump back to resolutions number 25. Mr. Chilella, 25, 26, and 27, do they all go together?
No, but we can. They're all public works.
All right, so Madam Clerk, as a matter of fact, since we're going to go based off of all of them coming out of the department, please read 25 through 31.
Resolution 25, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Professional Services Agreement to provide architectural services for rehabilitation of the Sheriff's Command Center at the Department of Parks Administration and Building Veterans Courthouse, Comito Associates, $177,500. Resolution 26, Department of Public Works, Divisions of Engineering, Contract Award to Smith-Sondy Asphalt Construction Company, the lowest responsible and responsible bidder to provide miscellaneous roadway rehabilitation at various county locations, amount not to exceed $467,707.75. Resolution 27, Department of Public Works, Division of Building and Grounds Contract Award to Pesticide Exterminating Company Incorporated, the lowest responsible and responsible bidder to provide exterminating services, 24-month agreement, amount not to exceed $250,000. Resolution 28, Department of Public Works, Division of Buildings and Grounds, Contract Award to National Dust Control Services Corporation, the sole responsive and responsible bidder for rental and/or cleaning of various size mats, amount not to exceed $53,791.20. Resolution 29, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for a replacement of Hoover Avenue Bridge over Third River, Township of Bloomfield, and project identified as LBFN-Essex County-00019. Resolution 30, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the replacement of Center Street Bridge over Third River, Township of Nutley, and project identified as LBFN-Essex County-00017. Resolution 31, Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet Management, contract awards to 3 lowest responsive and responsible bidders to provide various models and size of tires via catalog discounts for county fleets vehicles, 1-year agreement, cumulative amount not to exceed $100,000.
Thank you. Mr. Chilell, can you please explain Resolution 25?
Yes, this is out of Public Works. This is a professional service agreement with Comito Associates to provide for architectural redesign of the Sheriff's Command Center at 115 Clifton Avenue, as well as the Veterans Courthouse. We do have representatives from Comito Associates. If I can invite them up to the microphone to introduce themselves and explain the project.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Lori Shabarazzi from Comito Architects. Thank you. I'm a partner of the firm. I've been with the firm for 20 years. Our offices are here in Newark on Warren Street for 25 years. Our firm is made up of local Essex County residents. The project that we're being hired to design. There's 2 sites actually. One is here in the Veterans Courthouse, the sheriff's space on the 2nd floor, where we're going to design a new command center for the space and also upgrades to the space, which is needs to be modernized desperately, as well as the Parks building is a similar condition. There's also modernization upgrades and handicap accessibility upgrades. We designed also the OEM space at West Orange for the Sheriff's Department and also the Leroy Smith Building, so we're familiar with the Sheriff's Department and their operations.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. And do you have someone else with you? I saw you. Please come forward and state your name and affiliation.
Mr. Nwanko.
My name is Mba Nwankwo. I'm the president of Concourse Associates. I'm a sub-consultant. Thank you. I'm a sub-consultant to Comito Associates. We're going to help them to design the project, keeping eye on the cost. We will be taking care of making sure that they design the project within the allocated fund. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholder Bobadilla?
Just a comment, you know, we've seen your work throughout the years, and we know that you're very familiar with the role of the sheriff and what they need as far as to run your operation. So I look forward to seeing the new design. Thank you.
Okay. Freeholder Siebold?
Not only have we seen your work all these years, but all the work you do is so wonderful. So I'm happy that you're continuing to work for Essex County, because everything you do is so terrific.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, freeholders? Ms. Salam?
None, thank
you. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. It's great to see, again, women empowerment.
Thank you.
Do you have a mover and a second? Well, you know what, I'm sorry, wait a minute. I want to take these all together. So I'll hold off on the vote until after we're done with 31. Mr. Chilell, can you please explain 26?
26, Public Works Contract Award to Smith Sondy Asphalt Construction for miscellaneous roadway rehabilitation at the various county roads, which are JFK Parkway in Milburn, Livingston Avenue in Livingston, Scotland Road in Orange, White Oak Ridge Road in Milburn, and Hobart Gap Road in Livingston. This is primarily patchwork, and we do have our representatives from Smith Sondy with us.
Okay. Please come forward and state your name and affiliation for the record.
Good evening. My name is Michael Boble, and I am a supervising engineer with Smith Sondy Asphalt Construction. Smith Sondy Construction was started in 1946 by Mr. Smith's father. We are a union shop. We deal with the Teamsters, the Operating Engineers Union, and the Laborers Union. Based out of Bergen County, New Jersey, we do have, I believe at the last count, 14 or 15 Essex County employees.
Okay. How'd you know to say that? You knew we were going to ask that?
I was here once before, and I was asked those questions.
Freeholder. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Seabolt?
I know you're doing Hobart Gap Road in Livingston, correct? That's on the list.
I'm sorry?
Hobart Gap Road in
Yes.
Livingston you were doing. Can you give me an idea of how much of it you'll be doing?
Not at this time, I cannot.
Okay.
no.
It's not a problem.
Through you, Madam President, this is not an entire roadway resurfacing. These
I
are
know
pretty
that.
much patch projects, so it's not the entire roadway.
Okay, but there's a lot of problems on that road, but
Yes.
it'll be taken care of. That's all I need to know. Fine, thank you.
Okay. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Richardson?
You stole my thunder. No.
Ms. Salam?
No comments.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Schell, can you please explain Resolution 27?
27 is a Public Works contract to Pesticide Exterminating Company, the lowest responsible bidder. 24-month contract to provide for exterminating services for the entire county of Essex. Unfortunately, the vendor was not able to make it this evening, but it is a vital service that we need to provide. We currently, the previous vendor contract has expired, and we do have many buildings and facilities that we need to provide this service.
Okay. Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments?
Comment, Madam President.
Freeholder Johnson?
I'm glad he's not here, Ralph. He needs to be exterminating these buildings to keep us pest-free.
Through you, Madam President, that is one of the issues that we had recently is the little gap in the old contract to the new. So we apologize for that. We're hoping that this vendor could jump right on it.
Okay. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Just don't let me see a little critter.
I thought you liked critters.
Geese.
But
Geese
Madam-
and critters are two different things.
Madam President,
Yes.
that's why I made that statement.
Okay. Ms. Salam, any questions or comments?
None,
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay. Ms. Schiller, can you please explain Resolution 28?
28 is our Public Works Department awarding a contract to National Dust Control Services. They are the vendor that cleans the various mats that you see throughout our county buildings. That service, they come in, they pick up the mats, they clean them, and they return them. And this agreement is for 24 months, Madam President.
Okay. Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay. Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay. Mr. Chilal, please explain Resolution 29.
29 is our Public Works. We're seeking to submit an application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the replacement bridge on Hoover Avenue. This application will help offset the actual replacement cost. It's estimated that this application or this funding would be roughly $1 million.
Okay. Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Ms. Chilla, please explain Resolution 30.
30 is a similar application that Public Works is applying to the NJ Department of Transportation, and this is for the Center Street Bridge in Nutley. Again, it's estimated that it's over $1 million this application will go in for, and it's help offset the total replacement cost of the bridge.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Toro?
Quick comment, just that I commend the administration for actively seeking grant opportunities and contracts to improve our infrastructure for both Resolutions 29 and 30. It's two bridges in need of repair in my district. And when I looked at the documentation, it's not just repairing the bridge, but also replacing the sidewalk, the curb, the landscaping, the stripping, and even the drainage for one of them. So again, thank you for a good job well done.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Ms. Salam?
No question.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay. And 31?
31 is the contract to provide for various tires to 3 of the lowest responsible bidders via the catalog of discounts for county fleet. This is a 1-year agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Is the vendor here?
There are 3 different vendors, Madam President.
It's cumulative.
And
Okay, I
it's
see it.
$100,000 in total for the 3.
Okay. I understand. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney? Do I have a motion and a second to take resolutions 25 through 31 together? Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla, second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebol.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Please read resolution number 32.
Resolution 32, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Accounts and Controls contract with AXA, Equitable Life Insurance Company, Lincoln Financial Group, and MetLife as a designated Essex County Deferred Compensation Plan Administrator's 3-year agreement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Can you please explain?
Yes, we do have Norm Willis, our CFO, here on this resolution. Basically, there is no cost to the county. This is a service that we provide for our employees, and the county just strictly serves as a plan administrator. Mr. Willis?
Good afternoon, Madam President. Norman Willis, Chief Financial Officer. The 3 vendors have been providing administering deferred comp for over 20 years. MetLife and Lincoln, at least 20 years, and AXA, the last 5 years. And it's a voluntary program where employees have a chance to defer a portion of their salary tax-free. And that's basically, it's just a renewal of the contracts.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney?
This is, yeah, as said before, there is no cost here. These vendors are the 401k vendors where employees elect to have deferred compensation take out of their pay. They invest it here. They self-direct. The county really has nothing to do with the direction of those investments or any real contact with them, other than the fact that they need to be approved as a vendor, despite the fact that there's no appropriation required for them since we don't pay them. You pay them out of your 401k fees.
Right. Thanks for the reminder. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay. Do you have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Jones. Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Yes. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebol.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Please move to resolution number 33 and read.
Resolution 33, Department of Corrections Contract Award to GG Correctional Services, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide food services at the Essex County Correctional Facility, July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2018, amount not to exceed $16,320,576.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chella. Can you please explain?
Yes, first we do have Mr. Ortiz, the Director of Corrections, with us, as well as the representative from the GT Foods. This is the food contract for the correctional facility. The previous contract, the meals were roughly $1.46 per meal. Under the new contract, it's up 9 cents to $1.55 per meal. The contract is based on a maximum capacity at the jail, so that's a not to exceed amount. And the capacity, I'll let Mr. Ortiz speak about that. It's about 2,300. Just to give the board an understanding, today's census was about 1,938. So depending on the how many inmates are in the facilities, how many meals are prepared for them. And at this time, I'll call up Mr. Ortiz and the vendor.
Alfaro Ortiz, Director, Essex County Correctional Facility. Through you, Madam President, I can attest that this vendor has been with us for the last 5 years and been with us for 15 of the last 20 years, and they provide the much-needed food service for both our inmate population and our staff. Very modestly, I will tell you, it's roughly 10,000 meals, if not more, with the sandwiches for the guys in the courts and all that. They provide our religious services meals, our special diet meals, special requirements on top of the ICE that requires special types of menus. And we're very happy with them, and I'm pleased and recommend that this contract be approved.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Is that the vendor that's coming forward? Yes. Please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record. Freeholder Richardson, I'll call on you as soon as we hear the statement.
Michael Frangillo, President, GD Correctional Services.
Okay, would you like to
Yeah, just a little bit about our company. As Director Ortiz said, we've been doing business for the county for the past 20 years. We're a family-owned business, New Jersey-based, 100% union, IBW 1158, which has a lot of county employees as well. Along with the food services, we also train the inmate staff. We have a 12-step training process, just a basic restaurant course. We also just entered into a new training course to teach them how to make pizza, which hopefully can help them get jobs, when they're released. So it's a good partnership we've had with the county on many levels. Also, not only just providing the food, but in educating some of the inmate, population.
Wonderful. I like that. We need everyone to know how to make pizza. It's a good thing. Freeholder Richardson.
So when, and these prepared meals also include the population as being held, the ICE population? Are you teaching them as well? Are they getting the same training?
The ICE population aren't eligible to work as inmate staff. Correct.
That's correct, but they do get training in the pantries and the servicing of fellow ICE individuals because they're not with us very long, so that precludes us from doing that.
Okay. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Ms. Salam?
No question.
Mr. McInerney?
Yes, I do. It states in the decision memorandum that this is a 3-year contract, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it looked like the extension the last time we had it was for just a 2-year period of time.
Last contract was 2 years, that's correct,
Okay.
Frank.
And during that 2-year period of time had a not to exceed $9 million.
$9 million, correct.
Okay. So, you go from 2 years at $9 million to 3 years at $16 million. There's a big disconnect there, just mathematically. So if I was to take the 2-year contract at $9 million into 3 years, it'd be $13,500,000. So how does it go from $13,500,000 to $16 million?
I would think the counts were probably different with the 2-year extension than they are now. The price is a fixed price for 3 years, so we did go up 9 cents, but that price is flat, so we have to kind of build in food costs and inflation into that, as well as our union contract of increased wages. So that's why it seems like a little bit of a jump this year, but that's flat for 3 years.
And also, through you, Madam President, I think the original contract was in 2010, so over the last 5 years, various costs have increased. But in terms of the census, I don't know what that maximum census was in that bid specification of 210. I'll ask Mr. Boyd to provide that for you.
Okay.
If the numbers were based on the same census tract. We know the dollar meals went up 9 cents.
Right.
We don't know how many meals were asked for in the bid. And I will ask Mr.
Okay,
Boyd
did
for
we,
that.
it was a not to exceed at 9 million. Did we spend the 9 million? Or how
No, it
much of the
wasn't.
No, we've yet to, I think, spent the not to exceed because of the daily census that the facility has been operating. We've been on a decline census for the last couple of years.
Well, okay, if it was less than 9 million, that would mean the disparity is even greater. So,
Right.
And Mr. Cortez is right. If you do the math on the 16 million and work it out, I come to 9,600 meals. He said 10,000. So it's right there. But I've got to see a little bit more here. There's a big disparity. It's $1 million a year in
It
this
is.
contract, and from what we paid. And I know this is a conference board meeting, and that is really tough when you get a contract this size and don't have all the information. I know the vendor. The vendor's been here forever. I've been here forever. Nobody's looking to knock out the vendor, the vendor. But I certainly need a little bit more information.
You know, I agree with you, Mr. McInerney. I understand the last one was in 2010. Food prices have not increased that much. It's not that much to make pizza and dough and flour. It has pretty much been stabilized. The only thing in your in what it is that you are proposing that makes sense to me as far as the jump is the increased price in the union wages. However, I'd like to see a breakout of how much that has been since the contract was originally signed, because that is it's a lot of money, and the numbers do not make sense to me because of how it has just jumped over since the first contract.
Through you, Madam President, since this contract takes effect July 1, we have no problem with providing the additional information and adjourn this to the next board meeting, which is the 24th, I believe.
Okay.
All right.
And
Mr.
I can say,
McInerney?
yeah, if I could say this, in some of the areas, I will tell you that in my practice, food purveyors, cost of butter, wheat, milk, all those have increased substantially. So there has been increases in cost. I just want to see that.
But how many
Because
million?
we went up 6% from last bid. I'm not sure what the difference of that. I understand what you're saying. I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
But CPIU food away from home is 3%. Our union increase is 3%. The pension payment is $2 an hour. I can go through those things. But going up 6% to stay flat for 3 years, that's pretty much just covering our costs.
All right. So we look forward to receiving the information. We will adjourn this until the next meeting. Do I have a mover and a second to adjourn? Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla. Second by Freeholder Jones. Thank you so much for coming to explain. And again, we look forward to receiving the additional information. Please read resolution number 34.
Do we need to?
I'm sorry, we didn't vote.
Yeah.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill? Yes. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano? Absent. Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Seabold?
Yes.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Please move to resolution number 34 and read.
Resolution 34, Office of Superintendent of Elections, Commissioner of Registration, approval of emergency payment to Brantley Brothers Moving and Storage Company in the amount of $8,633 for emergency round-trip transport of voting machines for the School Board of Elections.
Okay. Mr. Chilala?
Yes, as this board is familiar, the superintendent of elections did declare an emergency during that school board election. This was the vendor that stepped in and provided the moving of those voting machines. This resolution allows for payment for those machines that were moved. And going on a go-forth basis, we did approve them on all elections that will take place going forward.
Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments?
Well,
Freeholder Jones?
this is the same vendor that we had been using for years, and during the school board election, we had to run around trying to find the machines because it was given to a different vendor, and I'm happy that Brantley is back.
Thank you. Ms. Salam?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney? Okay. Do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Jones and seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Please read resolution number 35.
Resolution 35, Department of Register of Deeds and Mortgages Contract Award to Affordable Interior Systems to provide office furniture under state contract A81750, amount not to exceed $110,586.72.
Okay. Mr. Shaw, can you please explain?
Yes, we do have the employees, or Sharon from the Registrar's Office, if there's any additional questions. But this is for office furniture upgrades out of the Registrar's Office, and it's being paid for out of her trust account funding.
Okay. Ms. Dewars, can you please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record?
Good evening, Sharon Dawes, Quality Control for Essex County Registrar's Office.
Thank you. And who do you have with you?
Good evening. My name is Lawrence Sweetie, Assistant Purchasing Agent for the Essex County Register of Mortgages and Deeds.
Thank you. Can you explain? Either one of you?
Larry Sweetie has been designated by the Register, Dana Roan, to be our project manager on the renovations for the furniture, and he has a breakdown, and if you have any further questions, we're both here to answer your questions.
Okay.
All right, first of all, I'd like to say,
Say your name and affiliation again. It's like
Excuse me?
every time it's the back and forth, it's just for the transcript. Name and
my
affiliation
name is
again.
Lawrence Sweetie. I work for the Essex County Register of Mortgages and Deeds. I am the Assistant Purchasing Agent. Since 2005, that was the last time that we were allowed to have some furniture, new furniture, computer system, things of that nature. I really believe that this time we should get better furniture for the simple reason that our computer system is outdated and it's like a dinosaur. Somebody's working in the front office and somebody's in the back. If they were to do something in the front, it would stop it. Also in price, the actual cost for the furniture was $394,949. With a 72% discount, it would be $110,585.72.
Okay.
And the money would be coming from our trust account.
Okay, which was my question. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Richardson?
You talked about antiquated computers, so how many computers are you buying?
28.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is for computers and furniture?
Now, this right here we're asking for is for furniture right now.
So this has nothing to do with
Nothing to do with computers. I'm so passionate about what's getting ready to happen for us that I just spoke on it.
We invite you to come and see our office now because you're going to get a before and after. Trust me, it's well-deserved. We bring in enough revenue to offset this cost, so it wouldn't be any impact on the county. It's coming out of the trust fund.
It's coming out of your trust fund, but
Yes.
you just mentioned computers, so I just wanted to know how many computers were you
28
purchasing?
in total.
But you're not
But-
purchasing computers for the item that you're in front of us. This
No.
has nothing to do with computers.
This is all office furniture.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
But you guys mentioned computers, not me.
Like I said, I'm just so passionate about what we're getting ready to do. That's why I spoke on it.
Thank you. Ms. Salam, any questions or comments?
None.
Mr. McInerney? Do I have a mover and a second? Moved by Freeholder Jones,
Second.
second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Please move to resolution number 36 and read.
Resolution 36, 2015 County Budget Agreement and insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Children and Families, Division of Youth and Family Services for Family Court Program, Division of Youth Services, $240,293.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cello, can you please explain?
I'll have Mr. Lee Fisher come up and explain this resolution.
Mr. Fisher, and thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Madam President. Lee Fisher, Director at the County Youth Services Commission. This is a grant that we received from DIPUS, a renewal, Division of Youth and Family Services. It's part of our continuing with juvenile justice. It's provided for staff that provides passive home detention monitoring by staff, in addition to the implementation of cellular electronic monitoring equipment. They both install it, retrieve it, and maintain it during the course of their weekly assignments.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Ms. Salam?
No comment.
Mr. McInerney? Okay, do you have a mover and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Toro?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move to resolutions number 37 and 38, which I believe go together. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 37, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Senior Services, approval of 2015 Senior Services Area Plan. Resolution 38, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Senior Services, approval to amend 2014 Area Plan Matrix for the Home Friend Grants.
Okay. Mr. Chillo, can you please explain?
Yeah, for 37 and 38, we do have Mary Davis from the department here, and I'll ask Mary to explain both 37 and 38.
Ms. Davis, thank you for your patience. Please come to the microphone, state your name and affiliation for the record.
Good evening, Madam President and Board. Mary A. Davis, Senior Services. Resolution Resolution 37, approval of this resolution will enable us to continue providing the outstanding quality services to our 60-plus elderly in the county, as outlined in our area plan. 2015 ends our 3-year cycle. This resolution will also allow us to receive the remaining funding allocation for this year. Resolution number 38 will allow the provider agencies, the Home Friend Provider Agency, to be paid for all of this, the actual expenditures that were provided in 2014.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Ms. Salam?
No comments.
Mr. McInerney? Mr. Chilella, does 41 go with this as well?
No.
No.
No to comment.
All right. Do I have a mover and a second to take 37 and 38 together? Moved by Freeholder Johnson.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder Vice President Gill. Absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano. Absent. Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. And Please read resolution number 39.
Resolution 39, insertion of items of revenue from the Division of Housing and Community Development for restroom improvements at the Essex County Economic Development Center, Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, $289,264.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shella, can you please explain?
Yes, Madam President. These are for construction costs related to the ADA restroom improvements at 50 South Clinton Street. And these are reimbursement costs coming out of our CDBG funds.
Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Ms. Salam? Mr. McInerney? Do I have a mover and a second? Moved by Freeholder Toro.
I'll second it.
Second by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro,
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel,
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Please move to resolution number 40 and read.
Resolution number 40, a Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, Division of Training and Employment contract amendment with MetalLink commuter services for Essex County Job Access Reserve Commute Transportation Program, 4-month extension, additional amount not to exceed $411,611.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shell, can you please explain?
Yeah, we do have Mike Vieira still with us this evening at the mic, and I'll ask Mike to go over this resolution with the board.
Mr. Vieira, I would have called you up to the microphone and grouped them together had you were hiding behind the camera from my view.
Thank you very much. Michael Vieira, V-I-E-I-R-A. My real title, my paying title, is Transportation Administrator for the Essex County Division of Training and Employment. I oversee the Job Access Reverse Commute Program, as Mr. Ciallella had explained before. It's actually a national model, and President Obama had mentioned it in one of his speeches a few years back. The resolution in front of you is we extended the contract with MetalLink for an additional 4 months. The reason was basically out of convenience and logistics. As we know, the JARC program, and since 1999, when we first got it in Essex County, it was a federal program. Because of the Federal Transit Administration and MAP 21, basically the JARC program, Job Access Reverse Commute, really no longer exists. They took that pot of money and they basically just took it and put it into a full pot of money and said to the states, well, if you want to do JARC, you can do JARC, but you could use that money for anything that you want. Well, New Jersey Transit decided that they wanted to keep the JARC program, but what they decided to do was keep the federal funds for themselves, but put state funding into the JARC program.
Right.
So for us, as of August 1st, the JARC program becomes state funded. Now, we were going out to bid for a new vendor. Back in March 31st, it was supposed to expire. With New Jersey Transit's I guess, suggestion and the administration's approval, what we ended up doing was we extended the MetalLink contract to July 31st, so we wouldn't have to write a federal RFP. So what we did was the federal RFP is about 3.5 inches thick, and we were able to get all those circulars that were required out of there and other rules and regulations, and it ends up being about 1 inch thick. So it was really out of convenience that we got all the federal regulations out of there, because if we actually kept them in there, we would have had the next 5 years of having to deal with a federal RFP and contract when we don't even receive federal monies anymore.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Siebold?
Thank you. This is part of what I was talking about before when I talked about all the great work that Michael Vieira has done for the county. And this reverse commute is really so job access, because it gives people a chance to commute to jobs that they wouldn't be unable to commute to. For example, there is a service which runs all the way up Route 10, just to the end of it goes to the end of Essex County, right?
No, it actually goes into Morris County.
It goes into Morris
It
County.
actually starts at, it takes people who get on, I believe it's a 73 bus, and the last pickup or last drop-off is up in Murray Road where the Home Depot is.
Right.
From that point on, there's a lot you got the Costco's, you got the Babies R Us and all that. They have no sidewalks up there. So how are these people supposed to get to work when the last bus stop is at Murray Road? So we pick them up at Murray Road, and we transport them up about 5 miles east and west on Route 10, and we also hit a little bit of 46.
That's what I was going to ask about next. You do 46 also.
Yeah, we do 46 also, not just the Route 10. We also have the Fairfield West Essex, which is pretty much the same thing. There's a stop in Bloomfield where the bus stops, but it doesn't go into the industrial parks. How are these people supposed to get into the industrial parks? And the two buses, especially the Night Owl and the Fairfield West Essex, actually take people from all over the county.
Right.
You know, you got all people from all over. Whereas our third shuttle is the Essex Night Owl, which deals with the towns of Newark, Orange, East Orange, and Irvington, and we take them to Penn Station between the hours of 1 a.m. in the morning to 5 a.m. in the morning, and that's exploding. That I could tell the recession is almost over because of the amount of people getting work.
And this is a perfect example of how many people can get to jobs because of this service which Essex County is providing and Michael Vieira is working on.
And you have
So
to give the
thank you,
administration a lot of
Michael.
credit because they are putting up a 50% share. Without that 50% share,
You're
it would
right.
not exist.
You're right.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
Do you see any further decreases? Because that issue has come up with the funding.
No, actually, we kind of know our funding for the next 2 years, and the JARC is basically staying the same.
Okay. So the 50-50 split is going to be in place.
Correct. Yeah, as long as we get the 50% match, the New Jersey, it's called now. It's going to be called the New Jersey JARC. So the New Jersey JARC money will be there as long as we get the matching funds.
Okay. Thanks.
Freeholder Toro?
My colleagues and I get the bus schedule to all those routes you explained?
Basically, it's all demand response. They just need to contact our provider, MeadowLink, and that number is there is an 800 number, but I'll give you the 201. It's 201-939-4242, and basically, MeadowLink can actually work with them. And if they don't fit into any of those schedules, MeadowLink is a TMA, a Transportation Management Association, so they will work with other options. If our 3 options don't work for you, there are other options out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments?
I'm sorry, Madam President. I just want to
Freeholder
confirm 201-939-4242.
Correct.
Ms. Salam?
No comment.
Mr. McInerney? Okay, do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Sebo. Second by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Yes. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vieira. Please move to Resolution 41 and read.
Resolution 41, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Youth Services, contract award to Thurman Mohammed to provide tonsorial services at the Juvenile Detention Center, 2-year contract extension, amount not to exceed $40,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chalala. Can you please explain?
Yes, Mr. Mohammed has been providing the hair cutting services at the juvenile detention for a few years now. It is the same cost as we had in the previous 2-year contract, and it amounts to roughly $10 per haircut.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Richardson?
And how often does he, Mr. Muhammad, go to the facility and cut hair?
I do not know that, but I will provide that schedule for the board.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Salam?
No comments.
Mr. McInerney? Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Jones.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla? Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. 42 through 59 are all commendations. Can you please read them into the record now?
Resolution 42, commendation honoring the Valerie Fund on the occasion of its 2015 Valerie Fund Walk and Run 5K, Saturday, June 13th, sponsored by Freeholder Siebel. Resolution 24, commendation honoring the East Orange Campus High School girls basketball team for winning the 2015 Essex County Championship and NJSIAA North 1 Group 4 Sectional Championship, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake. Resolution 44, commendation honoring Sharon Eastwick, honoree of the 28th Annual Essex West Hudson Labor Council AFL-CIO breakfast, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake. Resolution, number 24, accommodation honoring Lionel Leach, honoree of the 28th Annual Essex West Hudson Labor Council AFL-CIO breakfast, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake. Resolution 46, accommodation honoring Assemblyman John McKeon, honoree of the 28th Annual West Essex Hudson Labor Council AFL-CIO breakfast, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake. Resolution 47, commendation honoring Harold Colton Max for his service to the Jewish Community Housing Corporation of the Metropolitan New Jersey, sponsored by Freeholder Siebel. Resolution 48, commendation congratulating the East Orange on the occasion of his annual Caribbean Economic Forum, Thursday, June 4th, 2015, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake. Resolution 49, commendation celebrating the 49th anniversary of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana on the occasion of the Friday, May 29th, 2015 flag-raising ceremony, sponsored by Guyana American Heritage Foundation and the City of East Orange, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake. Resolution 50, commendation congratulating Apostle Victor Sanabria on his 10th anniversary in the ministry as an apostle, sponsored by Freeholder Bobadilla. Resolution 51, commendation congratulate Michelin Davis, Esquire, as she is honored by the Lupe Fund during its 11th Power of Women Reception and Young Latina Leadership Scholarship Presentations event, Thursday, June 4th, 2015, sponsored by Freeholder Gill. Resolution 52, commendation congratulating Arlene Perez, Esquire, as she's honored by the Lupe Fund during its 11th Power of Women Reception and Young Latina Leadership Presentation event, Thursday, June 4th, 2015, sponsored by Freeholder Gill. Resolution 53, commendation honoring Heroina Ravello on her 100th birthday, sponsored by Freeholder Johnson. Resolution 54, commendation honoring the Cedar Grove High School softball team 2015 New Jersey Group 1 State Championships, sponsored by Freeholders Luciano and Siebel. Resolution 55, commendation honoring the Weequahic High School Girls Outdoor Track and Field Team 2015 New Jersey Group 1 Team State Champions, sponsored by Freeholders Johnson and Richardson. Resolution 56, commendation honoring Robert Melillo, Group 3 Javelin State Championship, 2015 Group 3 Javelin State Champion, sponsored by Freeholder Toro. Resolution 57, commendation honoring the Milburn High School baseball team, 2015 New Jersey Group 4 State Championship, sponsored by Freeholders Siebel and Luciano. Resolution 54, commendation honoring the Milburn High School boys tennis team, 2015 Group 3 State Champions and winners of the 2015 Tournament of Champions, sponsored by Freeholders Siebel and Luciano. Resolution 59, commendation honoring the Livingston High School boys tennis team, 2015 Group 4 State Champions, sponsored by Freeholder Siebel and Luciano.
Thank you. I'd like for number 42 to be by acclamation, since this is a Freeholder sponsored event. If all else agree?
Which number?
The 42.
Yes.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Toro?
If I may please be added to commendation 51 and 52, and Madam President, through you, can I make a quick comment?
51, 52, and,
Just 51 and 52.
okay, absolutely.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
I attended the event. I'm a very strong supporter of the Lupe Fund, and I purchased a ticket, and to my surprise, I was unaware that there was a commendation until I was there. So I simply would like for my colleagues on the board to please, have an all-inclusive stance, and if they believe that there's anything that may be of interest to me, that they extend an invitation, as I will do the same. And being that I'm the only Latina on the board, and really supportive of the two honorees, it was disappointing. So, thank you.
Thank you. And actually, I think that that should be the practice, and I wish everyone were here to hear it. If there is something that you know, good and well, that someone else is probably interested in the organization or is also involved, maybe just as a courtesy, as colleagues, we can just, reach across and say, hey, look, I'm about to do this. I know this is one of your interests as well. Would you like to be on it with me? Freeholder Siebold?
Thank you very much. I want to just indicate that I concur with Freeholder Toro, and one of the people who was congratulated, who received a commendation, was someone I know quite well. And I also did not realize that this was happening. The problem is the event already took place. I wish that somehow when these resolutions were going to be done, it could be done well ahead of the event, so that if we wanted to be included before the resolution was written, we could be included on it. That would help.
Okay. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay, please ensure Freeholder Toro and Freeholder Siebold are added to 51 and 52.
It's too late even.
I understand that, but for the record, and we say this every single meeting, even though it's already handed out, when we're asking to be added onto other things, it will be added on for the record, so that if it is ever retrieved in the future or looked up in the future, you will see everyone's name. And that's the way it is. Every single meeting we have, that same thing is brought up. Let's move to report of board committees. Do we have any reports?
You gotta move this.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's late. I know everyone's feeling it. Do I have a motion and a second to move 42 through 59?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Richardson, seconded by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Bobadilla. See what I mean? About it being late. Freeholder Bobadilla.
And second by who?
Jones.
Okay. Yeah, that. Okay. Oh, Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson. Absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill. Absent. Freeholder Bobadilla. Yes. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
You're right.
Thank you. Let's move to report of board committees. Is there any report of any board committees? Freeholder Richardson?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. We had our first Labor Union Oversight Committee meeting on Monday, June 8th. In attendance were Freeholder Luciano, Freeholder Rufus Johnson, myself, the Chair, County Administrator Ralph Chalella, Director Anibal Ramos, the Department of Citizen Services, Director Jeanette Page Hawkins, Division of Welfare, County Council James Pagnelli, David Weiner, President of CWA Local 1081, and Carol Perkins, President Supervisors Union. And there was a lot discussed. Some of the biggest issues was case banking, which I know we're going to get a presentation on at some point. So we'll really understand what case banking is. There were staffing questions. There were some personnel matters that I won't go into here, and there were some unanswered Oprah requests that have put in by David Weiner. There were some physical plant issues such as PA systems not working, fire code issues. There was some questions asked by myself, David Weiner, Carol Perkins, and what we did in conclusion, I'm not going to read all of the fine points and everything that we went through, was we did agree moving forward to continue to have a conversation between all parties
Right.
and try to work through our differences. And the main question that I have for them, we understand the issues, right? Or most of the issues. And my question to them and my charge to everyone, what is the solutions? Come back with solutions. How do we fix the issues and the problems over at welfare? And so that's what we're working on. So next steps is to meet again and come back with some solid solutions, and hopefully the two sides have been working together to try to resolve some of the issues over there.
Thank you very much for that report. Freeholder Toro?
Yeah, I'd just like to make the members of the board and the public aware that a Workforce New Jersey Review Committee meeting has been scheduled for next Wednesday, June 17th at 3:30 at the Blondie R. Watson Conference Room, and members of the board is Freeholder Richardson, President Brittany Timberlake, and Freeholder Bobadilla. And we've invited the new director to attend and provide a presentation, and there will also be a whole review of banking, case banking. So, you know, I hope to see anyone who's interested there, and also the CWA, an invitation was sent to them as well so that they can interact during public comment.
Yes.
Thank you.
I look forward to that. Freeholders, any other report of board committees?
Well, we had the mosquito committee meeting, and it was the director of public works and his staff, and they assured us that they have already started to take care of the mosquitoes, and there are different areas they use different insecticides to get rid of them. So they're on the job, and I was impressed, you know, with the technology as it led to the airplanes, the power hoses, just everything. But they're working, and hopefully they'll get rid of the mosquitoes.
Yes, they even gave us a mosquito puzzle because everyone needs one of those.
Yeah.
Freeholders, any other reports of board committees? All right. Are there any legislative reports?
Just a statement. It's going to be a photo.
All right, hearing none. Written communication. Is there any unfinished business?
She wanted you to downstep. This is the county event. It's going to be sold out.
Okay, hearing none. Any new business to discuss? Freeholder Jones?
I would want to discuss again Irvington Park. I went over there. I did receive a key from the director of Parks and Recreation, and I must say it is really deplorable. If you would count the parks in Essex County, Irvington ranks 0, not even 17. It's just terrible. I went into that old part of the building, and you had workers there, and they had to bring mops and brooms from their homes to clean it. There are water, when it rains, it floods in there. It's just awful. It's dingy. The rugs, the towels are old, and we can't wait any longer to next year. Next year is not promised for us. And we want to start doing something right away, especially for the summer. We got to get people in there, and there are two things we want to do. One, for the seniors and for the children. Our lunch program, whatever type of activity that we can, and at the same time, we have spent, and I'm looking at the monies, thousands and thousands of dollars that is going to the different parks in Essex County. And I would believe, if you look at how much money you have spent in these, I think it's 17 parks, I don't think they spent as much as $5,000 in Irvington Park in the last 5 years. I would like to just have those numbers to see. The playground, you got stumps where you cut the trees down. These are babies out there. The swings are so high and their own asphalt. If a child would fall, they would injure themselves. I'm going to ask the legislators and at large people, it's not well in Essex County when one sister city is not working. I know that we got accolades of what we're doing in the park, but for some apparent reason, somebody forgot about Irvington Park. And I can't wait, and the people of Irvington can't wait. We need something done now. We just passed a bill, a resolution for like $600 and some odd thousand for emergency. Irvington is an emergency. And I'm asking the Madam President, the administration, at any time I will meet you there because I do have a key. You don't have to take my word for it. You can see for yourself. And I'm going to say Irvington people deserve more than that. And I'm being from the political point of view, Irvington is the third highest vote getter in these elections. And the only thing we ask for is equal. So I would like to see those programs, we got the money, and we can get that done by the July, whatever it is, so we can bring some kids into the park. And I know about building the cafe and all of that, I know it takes time because, and redesigning, but there are some things you can do. And one thing is that building. That building is important. And the part of it is, you know, the woman is dipping water. You know, I mean, not that I have one in my house or anything, but at least you should have some type of way of getting the water up without her dipping it and walking and trying to pour it out. The outside of it where there is a leak is mold. I don't know if it's algae or whatever, but it needs to be done. The bathrooms need to be fixed. But I'm going to ask you, Ralph, I will meet with you and Freeholder Richardson so you can see for yourself, and Madam President, that what I'm saying, I am not exaggerating. And you can see for yourself. And if you could just do that for me, it gives me some hope. And I'm a woman that will walk. I walked this morning and put out literature to have a community meeting. I will walk and I will fill that park. But the only thing I ask you is to supply what I need. It's a place for them to come for this summer, and let's get it started. And we'll be happy, and we'll work much harder. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Freeholder Jones. Just for the record, I hear you. I don't know what is going on, but I feel very, I hear you. So I will let you know that Friday afternoon, after 3 o'clock, I certainly would be available for a walkthrough, as well as a walkthrough for some of the other parks in which we discussed, Orange Park, as well as the Watessing East Orange side of the park. And if that's not good, we can propose other dates as well.
Whatever time you're ready, I'll walk with you.
Yes. All right. We also have, the Freeholder Board is sponsoring a Valerie Fund fundraiser. The event information is Saturday, June 13th, 2015 in Verona Park, Bloomfield Avenue, and Lakeside Avenue in Verona. There is also isn't there a dinner?
Yep. Oh, that's something different. This is the county event.
So this is the county event.
Right.
Saturday, June 13, 2015, Verona Park, Bloomfield Avenue, and Lakeside Avenue, Verona, New Jersey. It's a 5K race. Registration begins at 7 a.m. Race begins at 8:30 a.m. and awards at 9:15 a.m. Okay? And there will be different photo ops, and I'm starting to feel like a radio broadcaster up here, so you can look up the information. Freeholders, any other new business? Freeholder Richardson.
Just want to elaborate a little more on what Freeholder Jones is talking about. I had the occasion to be invited by her to go and walk that park, and she's right, it's atrocious. The building, the floors, there's tiles that are missing, there are tiles that are buckled from excessive water, there are wires hanging down. It's a mess. I got pictures. There's bottom pieces of doors that are inside that are missing. There's graffiti all over it. The baseball fields are overgrown. You could tell the grass haven't been cut in I don't know how long. The fields themselves, there's weeds and stuff growing in them. I'm sure if you go to Branchbrook Park, you won't see that. Or Weekway Park, you won't see that. Right. So why is Irvington Park any different? This stuff has to be addressed, and she talked about those. I got pictures. I took pictures of everything. And there are tree stumps where the tree was cut down, but in the playgrounds where the kids play at, there are benches that have seats missing, and there's metal, sharp metals sticking out where the top of the seats were. It's atrocious the way that the people in Irvington are being treated. There's no excuse for it. It has to be addressed, and it should be addressed immediately.
Point
if
taken.
not sooner.
Point taken, and we will schedule a meeting. Like I said, if that time is not good, we will come up with a different time as soon as possible to take care of it.
Take care of it.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now we're going back to public comment session. If there's any member of the public wishing to speak on any issue at all, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock right here to my right. Okay, let the record reflect that there's no member of the public wishing to speak at this time. I'm opening up for freeholder comment session. Freeholders, any other comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move it.